Hey.
No!
Hey.
Oh, welcome to another edition of Comics Cast. Let it out on Sunday, September 19th. Full disclosure, I just want to say this right up front. I want to give props to Rick here. Rick is under the weather. He's not feeling but yet he's a true soldier. He's here with me today. So I want everybody to send some positivity towards Rick. Make sure he gets better. And just want to let Rick. You want to talk a little bit before you get off? Go to the back.
I've been fighting the wildest cold this whole week, and it just won't quit. And as you can probably both tell and see, I don't feel so good. So I'll be a little more in the background. I'll probably have my camera off because I look like the S word. And but I'll be around. I will be monitoring the chat. Thank you, Wick.
Yep.
I'll be monitoring the chat, and I'll be having my comments as usual. But
yeah, but we wish Rick feels better. Rick, if you want to go ahead and go to
before we jump over and we speak of wishing, happy birthday!
Oh, thank you so much. It's another. It was just another day.
Yeah.
Feeling it in the joints and stuff like that. But I appreciate it. And I think Rick has the perfect birthday gift because he's going to be going to icon mode where he turns off his cam. And when he does it, Rick, you want to show everybody? Oh, it's me. So Rick, thank you so much. Let's get the show going because we're even though we have some challenges that we're going through today in terms of Rick feeling under the weather. It's going to be business as usual. It's another edition of Comics Cast. What is Comics Cast? I want to let you know that Comics Cast is all about the indie creator. If you're an indie creator in the comics community, we want to have you on the show. We're all about promoting you, whether you're a writer, a penciler, inker, publisher, you name it. We want you to be on our show so we can get eyes on you. So Rick, so quick, he already has our YouTube page open. And if you look at the scrolling ticker at the bottom, you can find us on Facebook at just regular Comics Cast, but you can find us on YouTube at Indie Comics Cast. So add INDIE, and you can see we have a plethora of videos that you can check out. It has all of our past Let It Outs. It has our ART show, which is the Artist Roundtable. It has the super limited edition mentor block, which is what Rick was responsible for. I encourage everybody to check those out. Lots of content. And we are trying to grow our YouTube viewership. So if you can, like and subscribe. So that being said, let's go ahead and hide this real quick. And let's just get to the meat and potatoes of the show, which is all about those guests that I was talking about. So today we have a really two special guests. They are a writer and artist combo. Yeah, it sounds like something you get at McDonald's. They're a combo. They're a great team. It's been
don't call our guest a Happy Meal. That doesn't sound
that's not
good.
nice. I think they're going to bring smiles to everybody. So yeah, and we're gonna eat up their art. Okay, these are all bad jokes. But anyway, I want to welcome our guests. So I'm going to do the drum roll and you get them in. So our guests are.
Have fun.
Hey, hello. What's up, guys?
Hey, I want to welcome you all. So I want to introduce. We have Charles Dobes and we have Erfan Fajar. Did I pronounce that correctly?
Yes, right.
Yes. Whoa, I got it right. Yes, there it is. Yeah, K-pop hearts for everybody. Yes. So we're back and we have two special guests. And like I said, Charles I was so happy because what happened is Charles met the co-founder of Comics Cast, Joe Tolliver, at a con in Washington State. And I think when Joe was walking around the floors, he saw Charles's awesome exhibit, which had all of his great artwork, which featured obviously Erfan's artwork as well. And he was drawn in. And they had a conversation, and it was he made such an impact on Joe. Joe reached out to me and said, "Hey, there's this guy named Charles. He's going to reach out to you. He's going to want to be on the show because he has a great product. He has a great comic, his own studio, and he's doing the due diligence. He's grinding. He's going to all these cons promoting the book, and it's our pleasure to show this phenomenal piece of artwork. And it's just one of many titles that Charles is actually working on. So here we got Roy Mercado saying, "Hey Charles and Erfan." So here we're gonna, Roy is gonna be probably the first of many fans you're gonna gain from being on this show. So let's have the ticker change at the bottom. Yeah, Joe Tolliver is saying, hell yeah, I did. The dude is a beast. Yes, Charles. I want to say that, you know, in the short time that I've known you, I think you probably hit like maybe 4 or 5 cons since
Christy,
then.
that's my cousin.
Oh, hey, Christy. And you are, you know, when you're not doing your day job, you're definitely going to cons and promoting the book. So yeah. I want everybody to look at the ticker at the bottom. That is how you can follow Charles. That is how you can follow Erfan and get to know all about Essence, which is both the name of the studio and the flagship title for Charles's book. And Charles has told me that his creator mind is just going full steam. He has, I think, big plans for multiple titles that are going to be coming. And I don't know what he can talk about, but we'll hear about that toward the end of the show in terms of what the future is. But today, right now, it's all about Essence and a little bit about Crunk, which is another character that Charles put together. But Essence is the joint collaborative project that Charles and Erfan have worked on together. So that being said, let's move to the next segment of the show, which is basically called the elevator pitch. And the elevator pitch is basically, you know, if you were stuck in an elevator between floors, and let's say it's Jim Lee, and you had a certain amount of time to talk about who you are and what you're about, you know, that would be your elevator pitch. The good news to both you and Charles and Erfan is that you will have more than one floor to let everybody know who you are, because you got just tons of great stuff that we want to show. So you have an entire skyscraper to talk about yourselves, and then we'll go dig deep into the individual art. So Charles, let's start with you. I'll send the mic your way, and just tell us about yourself and you know, your particular creator journey. All right, so there you go. Mic is in your hands.
Well, this is the first time I've done this, so my name is Charles Dobes, and I created Essence around 2015. So that was kind of the beginning of the journey, but it was actually meant to be more of a video game, but doing video games is a lot more complex, a lot more, when you go to pitch it to someone, you don't have the protection of the intellectual properties because you don't have anything written as easily. So I went and created my intellectual property and got into the comic book because doing the visual medium for something as complex as this with the way the story was written was the better way to go, because writing it was created a lot. Trying to write like a full regular book would have been a lot more complicating. And you'll find out why as we go. But yeah, I created it and put it together around 2017. I started working with my first artist, Chris Jevenois. I hope I say that right, because I haven't actually gotten to see his name, but I'm guessing it's French. But I started working with him, and then I've been working with various artists, and I met Fariza through Chris, and then Fariza is the colorist of the project, and he's been with me since the beginning. And when Chris kind of took a step back because he had family matters to attend to, and the artwork wasn't paying him enough, so he went and started doing a regular, normal job, so he wasn't able to focus full-time on Essence. Fariza actually introduced me and Erfan, and Erfan started working on the project, and he took over from Federico, who was also working on it as well. But Federico is actually working for Marvel now on Spider-Man and a couple other ones, I believe. I think he's actually just starting Moon Knight. But it was pretty cool. But when I put it together, I wanted to do something fun with my project, and so I created Essence, and it focuses on heroes that share abilities. And I hope I'm doing this right. Am I doing this right?
You're doing great. But you know, let's say that I'm going to show. Obviously, this is visual eye candy that we're showing in the background because I want everybody to see what Essence is about. But we're going to have some time to actually for you to dig deeper into Essence and what Essence is about. But let's talk a little bit more about like what compelled you to get into like wanting to create and, you know, come up with a story of Essence. And then, you know, you alluded to how you had an original artist and how the colorist for that art project kind of like introduced you to Erfan. But we're going to get to all that. Let's just talk a little bit about yourself in terms of what made you want to become a writer, and then the genesis in terms of like Essence. So you want to talk? Is there a funny story to go along with that?
I got really bored of all the video games. And so, like I said, I was doing it originally as a video game. It's because I got bored of all the different video games, and I loved Warcraft 3 because I grew up playing Warcraft 3, and it was one of my favorite games because it had so many different options. So I actually started creating Essence as a video game that was like supposed to be real-time strategy. But like I said, you can't protect the intellectual property as easily through video games, and it's more expensive. So I went with doing the story, and when I started putting the story together, it was just kind of like a little hobby at first, but then I started digging into it more, and I was like, oh, this is actually really good. So that's kind of what drove me to actually create it, because I felt like this was actually something unique and something different.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think that's what's one thing that we're gonna basically or definitely highlight in terms of like Essence and the larger meaning of what Essence is and how these characters I don't want to jump the gun in terms of like tying and talking more about that, but let's since we got to see that, one of the funny things that when I talked to Charles during the pre-show was his extensive comic book collecting years in terms of like how many comics he's read and all these things. You can tell I'm being a little sarcastic here. So Charles, you want to talk a little bit about what you shared with me, because I thought this was completely brilliant in the sense that not what I would have expected.
Not what most people would expect. It's completely...
Yes. Go ahead and talk about that. Yeah.
So when I started, I had no knowledge. I had never actually read a comic book before. When I first started, like it was completely out of the blue, and I don't do a lot of reading books. I usually read like articles and stuff like that from different news articles and stuff. But when I did it, I wanted to do the visual medium. So I started getting into the comic books, and I'm actually glad I met Chris when I did, because he taught me a lot of the information and a lot of all the different stuff. So where it's controversial, I know where my weaknesses are. So I surrounded myself with a team of people that have been doing this for a very long time and have the experience, so they know what they're doing. And I've kind of picked up and learned from them and figured some things out. Like a lot of my friends read comic books. And so they've helped me along the way, and I've met a lot of good people that have just helped with information. And I'm actually glad I have Erfan, because he'll point out and he'll call me out on, oh, that doesn't look good, or that's not right.
Well, that's the essence of a good team, right?
Yeah.
Sorry,
it's
another bad joke.
I know where my weaknesses are. I know that I'm not the most experienced person, but I'm trying to make sure to do my best and give a really good product. I've worked really hard. So I'm filling in, like I built my website. I put a bunch of different stuff. So if you're able to pull up the website, you can actually show a little bit of it. But like all the stuff on the website is stuff that I put together and built it from. I went to GoDaddy. So I've been doing a lot of different things. I've been learning how to do the books. I've been working with editors like Ramel Hill. He's been teaching me. My friend John Carter has also been teaching me, and he's had to point a lot of things out that I would have never caught before because I didn't have the experience. And then what was it? I'm trying to think. But like I whenever I have questions, I go and ask the team. I never hesitate to go and ask, because I know that I want to make sure that this turns out exceptionally well. So I have a lot of people that will actually, I'll ask the questions for, or ask them questions and stuff like that.
Well, you know what you described to me, that is I liken it to the Steve Jobs, of Apple fame, who's passed away since. But Steve Jobs was the same thing. I mean, he was a brilliant guy, but he surrounded himself with really talented people. And as a result, we get all these fantastic products, that the world enjoys now. And I'm gonna say you're gonna be like Steve Jobs, Charles. You surrounded yourself with really talented people, and I think this would be a good transition to talk about one of those really talented people or persons that you surrounded yourself. And that particular gentleman is Erfan, and I just think his name is so fitting because I saw it and I read it as Erfan at first, but it's Erfan fan, and it's sort of like we're all going to be fans of air, or I don't know. I guess we're all fans because we have to breathe. But I'm just saying that. Okay, that joke totally went
that was
there
bad,
in my head. I'm gonna go mute myself right now, and Rick is gonna take over. But I just want to say we're gonna be fans of Erfan, and it's gonna be really cool because I'm going to showcase a lot of his art. He's a very versatile artist. He shared with me a ton of different art pieces.
One thing is, sorry to interrupt.
Okay.
On his Instagram, I believe it says Eru fan. So it could be like a little joke of, "Are you fan?"
Yes. See, leave it to Charles to bail me out. That's what I wanted to say. I wanted to say something like that.
To be honest, fan in Danish means is fan. So directly translate to is fan. So he is a fan.
Yes, there you go.
Let's track this on a little bit more.
Yeah, okay, let's just all laugh at Gerald and his bad jokes and stuff like that. Let's just get to the art because that's what's really cool. So let me hand the mic over to you, Erfan, and you just tell us about yourself, your artistic journey, and I'm going to show some of your brilliant artwork, and then we're going to bring it back to Essence. But like I said, our audience, be prepared. This is like what Charles saw, and just when I saw it too, it really just blew my mind in terms of how talented this artist is. So the mic is now in your hands. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, thank you, Gerald. I'm going to speak really slow now. I hope people will understand my English. Okay, hello everyone. My name is Erfan Fajar. I am a comic artist from Indonesia. I usually work as a penciler or fine artist, but sometimes also color or write stories. I mean, as comic artist, I don't have much thing to say about me, but I've been around like 20 years, I think, in the industry. But maybe recent years, I'm focusing on local comic industry in Indonesia. So been work for several US publisher in circa 2013, I think. That's a long time ago, I think. And now I have the honor to join the Essence team with Charles. And of course, very honored to be on this show also, Gerald and Rick. I think that's it. I don't have much to say about me.
Well,
Okay, I'm gonna help you out. You're so humble, and you're gonna let your art speak for you. Charles, did you want to say something real quick?
What project were you working on before you actually joined our team?
Okay, before joining Essence team, I was working with a company that also work in the comic industry. It's a IP company that handle mostly superheroes IP, a local superheroes IP. Yeah, its name is Bumi Langit Studio and Bumi Langit Comics, and they working on movie also. And before that, I'm doing many personal IP and work for the I mean the book is published in a local industry in Indonesia, but things doesn't turn out to be what I am expected because the industry is I mean here is very hard, I think. Yeah, so yeah, I'm is a bit go trying to find another way to still working as a comic artist now. So I'm looking to overseas jobs and then find Charles. that's the real story behind everything now happening. Okay.
Well, that's a great story because I want to point out to our fans or to our audience that are watching right now. Charles is in Washington State in the United States. Erfan is in Indonesia. This is one of the really wondrous things about the times that we live in terms of the the miracles of the internet, independent creator comics. Is that there is no geography that separates, when a good story needs to be told. You can really unite, a creator that's in the United States with a artist that's in the Pacific Rim. And it's amazing to me to do that. And I was joking around with them. It's like, I think they obviously have corresponded with each other, but when we did the pre-show, I think that was the first time they'd seen each other face to face. So,
well, I've seen him, but it was more like I was looking at him because he was doing his live drawing while I was doing artwork. I was texting and giving him a hard time.
Oh, okay, I see how it is. So Charles was trolling in the background and trying. That's how he was planning to win over Erfan to like do stuff. It's like, yeah, you can't see me, but I want to work with you and stuff like that. But I was just going through some of your art here, and I believe this one, Kill Starter. This was a really long scrolling page. Was this like a web comic? That was.
Yeah, this is a webtoon comic. I think we read it on smartphone, so we scroll down. Like I think Marvel launched a new Infinite Comic. They said, this is the same form. Yeah, this is one of my comic that's online. You can only read online. I think now webtoon is very very famous in Indonesia. People are there's a more like to read webtoon than maybe what do you call print. Yes,
print. Well, it is
younger person will easier to read webtoon than print. I think.
Yeah, I don't know if that's
more
a statement
convenient.
about. Yeah, I think it's a different avenue to reach. To reach your audience, and webtoons has exploded. And again, I was showing this earlier, which showed some of your sequential work. And again, this is to show you some versatility here in terms of like what he's done. Because here we have, it's playful, kind of has these kids here, and then we go to this, and the title is called Kill Starter. And I was like, was I scrolling through this? There's a pretty epic battle going on here. I mean, we even see like some bones being broken and stuff like that. But it just shows that you're able to do traditional sequential art. We have a webtoon here, and I was gonna show this. I don't know how to pronounce this. Is it
Manungsa? Yeah, Manungsa. It means human. It means human in English. Yeah.
I'm from the. I have no. I don't. I didn't know.
I knew that.
Oh, you knew it. Okay. All right. Okay. So
Manungsa. Basically, the story is kind of a feud between technology and nature, where humans with their advanced technological advance, while nature is represented by supernatural powers. So many characters are taken from mystical creature or local folklore or supernatural beings, ghosts, some kind like that. Yeah.
That's these are really. And you wrote? Did you write this as well as this?
I have friends collaborating with friends. Jaka Adi is the script writer for this story. We both working on the story, and I think. It's been a great experience, I think. Yeah.
Very brilliant artwork, and this was one of my favorite pieces that I got from you. And you talk about like pieces that when you look at it, you just, even if there's no words associated with it, it's like a picture. It's like telling a story. It's not a pinup. And when I saw this particular piece, obviously she's really big, and she has like
Yeah,
you know her body gestures, her facial expression, and then you see the perspective, and you know you even see like the destruction in the ceiling, and it made me so curious. I wanted to like read more about it. Unfortunately, this particular story is not available anymore. Can't get to it.
It's too bad.
Is she squishing a man in her hand?
That's a robot.
A
Yes.
robot.
So the story behind this scene is, I think, her name is Buta. Buta means giant. I mean, every region has its story about giant. So this is the local version of giant. We try to make that into the story. So Jaka, as the writer, has ideas.
Hey,
I want to draw. I want to a story about a giant running around a city. He said like that. So I was like, oh, I want a fight scene between a robot and a giant. So let make this story. So it happened like that.
Perfect. Charles, did you want to say something? Were you?
Huh? Oh, I was just saying hi to Charisma.
Oh, okay. On the chat, yeah. I'm still looking at the art. I wasn't looking at the chat area, but Rick, I think you're going to be a fan of this because look at all these little tiny window or glass shards from the window.
I knew you were gonna pick that. I knew you were gonna.
And it just goes to show you. It was my little joke with Rick. It's an ongoing thing, but I just love this art piece. I mean, I got like that whole Attack on Titan vibe to it, but what Erfan was telling me was that it's that this is like a Indonesian folklore, right? This is like a folklore type story, and you mentioned about giants, and I think that's really inspiring. And it's unfortunate that our audience can't get this book because I think you said the company that produced this, I think they've gone out of business, and I don't know if you can buy this, but I really like it when, you know, in the indie creator arena, especially when you have international artists that are here on the show, and they're basically not just telling the typical superhero story, they're telling tales from their country. If you recall, like some of the guys that are here on the comment, Roy Mercado does that with some of the Filipino folklore, and we see that here with Erfan as well. I'm going to just go through this really quickly to show some of this artwork. It is just phenomenal, and I encourage you to check out the scrolling ticker below to see so you can check out more of Erfan's artwork.
What do you work in most, Erfan? Traditional or digital?
This is digital. Sometimes I work in traditional. Sometimes if I get bored with digital artwork, because drawing in paper is really refreshing. I mean, there's no such feeling like drawing on paper, right? But the industry runs really fast sometimes, and that's only can be helped with a digital. Whenever I have so much time, I work on paper. Whenever the deadline is just behind me, I go digital.
Again, I'm in awe when I look at this stuff. I mean, it's so kinetic, so much energy, and you definitely get a sense of scale and look at this impact. And I don't even know what the words are. That's why even if I bought them, I don't even need the words. I think your panels speak for themselves. It's just really good sequential storytelling, and I'm assuming this is what Charles saw and was just like, I gotta get this guy on my book. I mean, it's just incredible. Let me zoom out here. Yeah, just phenomenal. I realized I went backwards, so it doesn't really matter. We don't have any words here. So every page that of artwork that he showed me is just really, really, really cool. So here we have, this is some of Erfan's recent work. You can find this on his Facebook page, and I believe these are all kind of like original characters. And I'm a big fan of I'm gonna butcher this name, Hiroaki Samura, who is a
Blade of the Immortal, right?
Yes, Blade of the Immortal. And I looked at this and I go, oh, this reminds me of it. And I'm such a big fan of him. So, to me, I was like, oh, wow, just seeing all sorts of just crazy, crazy good artwork. And this is digital too, right?
Yeah, this one is digital.
Yeah, and
Fully
not
digital.
yeah, and not to go off on a separate tangent because I think we're gonna have another show just to talk about this, and I think Rick is gonna enjoy this one. Erfan is exploring the world of NFT, and I think these particular pieces are actually going to be available, or if they're not available, they're going to be available through NFT, and that's something that we're going to talk a little bit. We'll have another dedicated episode to it because it is controversial. It is a way of digital artists getting their dues and making sure that if you are if you appreciate digital art and you're a collector of it, it allows you to have some way of saying that this is authentic, that it belongs to you, and you are the sole proprietor, or maybe if it's a limited edition to print, it allows you to do that. We'll see if that's going to be a future for digital art, but it's definitely one that's very interesting. And we're going to have Erfan to talk a little bit more about that a little later on. So here we know that Erfan, you're a little bit. Are you a Trekkie? Yeah, I knew he was going to say that. He was going to say this is not Star Wars. This is Star Trek, and it's one of those things. I take it, Erfan. Are you a Trekkie? Are you a Trekkie?
Yeah, I think I'm considered a Trekkie than Star Wars fans.
Star Wars. Oh, okay. So you basically touched some nerves there, Rick, calling this Star Wars.
That's why I did it.
So I look at this, and not only is it Star Trek, but it's if you're a Trekkie, this particular camp of Trekkies are actually kind of divided too. Whether you're a proponent of the Kelvin timeline, or the classic Kirk, or the Next Generation, or many of the other miniseries. But I just really liked seeing this too because I don't get to see too much Trekkie art here. So just really, really neat stuff here, showing more versatility. You capture their likenesses really well, and being able to do sequentials. It feels like it does fit in that Kelvin J.J. Abrams timeline, in terms of being able to have that look and feel. But you know what? Yeah. Oh, go ahead, Erfan. Did you want to say something?
I think this is the last project before I entered the local industry. This is around 2013, I think. Yeah. I think back then I was trying to have my own personal IP. Yeah.
Mhm.
So yeah, I decided to work on local industry. That's the decision I made back then. This is, I think, this is monthly schedule. This Star Trek, and it's a continuity from the movie.
Right.
So yeah, this is very challenging because day one the characters is very similar to the movie. So
Yeah.
just slight mistake, they won't receive any. Very very long to take one page to finish this one because it has to be perfect, the face.
Yeah, that's a challenge in itself, and again, it's a credit to you how like I said, how versatile you are in terms of like being able to go from like web comics to go to like movie actresses likenesses, being able to do a webtoon, and even seeing some of your original artwork, which to me is like up there with Samura, but it's it's your own IP. So I'm ready to see that. I'm ready to see what you do with that as well. But this is where I think that I'm gonna get Charles back in here, because now we've seen Erfan's artwork, and I'd like to talk a little bit now about how the two of you came together, with your powers combined, to form Essence. So I'm gonna get out of here and let's talk a little bit about that. So Charles, I'm gonna put the mic back in your hands, and I think you already alluded to a little bit about the colorist. It's Fariza, I believe. Did I mispronounce? I don't know if I did.
Yeah, Fariza.
Fariza. Yeah,
You're so
the
good
colorist.
with names today, Carol.
I know, I'm so horrible. But I heard a little bit of the story in terms of this was like the nexus point that put the two of you guys together. So Charles, I'm gonna pull up Essence again here, and I want you to talk, the two of you to talk in terms of how you came together and you had this relationship now, and of course it's it's gone much further now, because we're only going to be able to preview the trade paperback, which I am so proud to have. I have a physical copy as well as a digital copy.
Yeah.
It looks Charles, before you get into telling that story, I just want to let everybody know, you look at this book, and even before you open it, its presentation is phenomenal. I mean, it's up there with anything that you would see from Marvel or DC or Image. The presentation is really great. Has a nice feel to it. It's very premium. But then you open the book, and the book, it complements it. It goes beyond that. I told Charles, he kept on telling me, did you read it yet? Did you read it yet? And I was so busy, I didn't get a chance to read it like in one sitting. But when I did get to it, I was just turning the pages. I was looking at it. I was brought into this universe. And there were two artists. Charles did talk about, there was an original artist that started out in the very beginning, and then he had to make certain life decisions, do things that he needed to do, but that would open the door for his relationship with Erfan. And the majority of this book, the art is going to be Erfan, and it really shows him growing and evolving and getting to know this character. So Charles, tell us about how you developed that relationship with Erfan.
So what was it? It's almost been a year now, because we actually just talked about this the other day.
Yeah.
So about a year ago, I needed to find another artist to take over for where Chris was at, and so I had Kyle. It's spelled CAIO, so.
Blame Carol.
I always say Kyle, so it's funny. But Kyle, he was going to start it, and he was another artist that Fariza had introduced to us, and he was going to start it, but his artwork wasn't quite where it should be for Essence. It wasn't, his artwork was bad. It was just his style didn't fit where Essence should be at. And we'll actually talk about him, because he got put on the Crunk Self Adventures project. But that led us to look for a second artist. And so Fariza introduced me to Erfan, and Erfan was just getting ready to complete his contract with his previous employer, and so he decided that he wanted to join the Essence team. And so once that time frame was up, he joined us and started working on the project. And I think we finished Essence, I think about 6 months ago, for the black and white inks. I mean, we're already on page 35 for volume 2 right now as it is. But we've been working together, and our styles complement each other. So like he's Erfan's very good at reading how I write the script, and he's able to put it on the page very well. And I'm very excited about how well we work together, because when you're a writer and you're working with a team, or even just you're employing a team, it's not just about getting a good artist or getting a good writer or getting somebody that's good. You actually want the team to work well together, because if they don't work well together, your product's going to suffer as well. And so that's like, I look for people that have good relationship skills, good communication skills, their work is consistent, and you try to stick with those people as much as possible, because building that relationship will get you a lot further than if you're just trying to get a book done and then you're looking for another artist after the next issue is done. So it takes a lot of work. Yeah,
and I think that's a great story in terms of like, no one. I'm going to quote something from the MCU with Luis. If everybody watched Ant-Man, he goes, he met somebody and he goes, "Hey, I know a guy," and and it was like, "I know a guy. His name is Erfan, and he's in Indonesia, and you guys now connected." And like I said, we got to see this wonderful collaboration in terms of the two of you put together and just coming up with these really, really dynamic, characters, being able to show them. And what I think now this will be a great time for us to transition into our first live drawing. And this will give Charles Erfan to basically tell a little bit some background in terms of what Essence is, in terms of who these characters are, what their universe that they inhabit, their design choices, being able to tell a little bit about the story of the characters within Essence and the Essence universe, because that is what drew me in. The characters are so rich and vibrant. You get a sense of who they are. It's enough of a tease because you don't get the full story, but you're already getting a good foundation of what they're about. And what's really cool is also just the whole premise of what Essence is. I'm going to give a little bit of a how I was coming to conclude what Essence is. It's kind of like the Force, and I don't know what I know that you're a Trekkie, Erfan, but as a Star Wars nerd, I was like looking at it and I was like, oh, it's kind of like the Force, but it's much bigger than that. There's a different component that Charles has weaved into it, and it's also has like this. There's going to be, I'm going to put it out there, there's going to be some parallels that people are going to say, it looks kind of like Avatar: The Last Airbender. It's not. It's at first glance, on the superficial level, you may kind of get that, but it's much deeper than that. There's so much more to it, and I'm going to be pulling all sorts of little tropes from like other anime or manga or animated series that I love. It kind of has like this Voltron thing too. It's sort of like with their powers combined, they form the might of Voltron. The essence, this force that Charles has come up with, the essence affects people differently, and these 12 characters that he's wrote his story around, they all have different powers based on essence, and their powers go beyond that, because not only do they have their unique ability as an individual, but they can combine with other essence users. I'm going to let Charles, talk a little bit about what he calls them and what they're about. But I think this would be a good opportunity for us to do our first live drawing and allow you guys to talk more about it. So that being said, Rick is going to be even though he's under the weather, he's still going to be our timekeeper. He's going to basically look at the comment field. I'm going to encourage our audience to please draw along with us. Our first drawing is going to be of this character. Let me pull the cover up. And it's Conrad. His name is Conrad. He is one of 12 warriors. I guess we're going to talk about his powers during the live drawing, but I just want everybody to get a look at what his visual style looks like, or what his character style is, so you can get an idea. You can see he has like this kind of like a saber that he's materialized. You see some sort of earth elements moving around the background. Those are all hints. Charles is going to talk a little bit more about that, but everybody do a screen capture of this if you're going to draw along with us. We're going to draw Conrad, learn more about him, and go from there. So that being said, let me pull up Erfan's. There you go. There's his art cam. He's going to be doing it digital, and I'll be doing traditional, and we'll go from there. So the mic now is in your hands, Charles. Tell us a little bit more about Conrad.
All right. So, or should I talk about like a little bit about the story and kind of like how the story is? Because I got some of my prints, so I can give the little spiel that I give at the events, and then I can go into Conrad, because I always give Conrad stuff.
Yep, exactly.
All right, so I'm going to take my phone because I'm on my phone, which is why my screen is so much smaller than everybody else's.
I got this, Gerald.
Okay.
I feel up for it.
You got it.
Yeah.
All right. So
let's put this.
Ooh, sorry. I'm trying to figure it out. All right. So
there you go.
You've got all the kids right here. Let me see if I can do this, because it's a little funny with the phone. So these are done on metal prints, so there is a little bit of shiny to them. So you got the little spirit guys in the story. They're called Tharman, but they're like souls that don't need a physical body. So they have to fight these creatures called harvesters, and the creatures can absorb essence. So the little spirit guys can't fight them. So they give their powers to the kids in order for the kids to actually go through the universe and battle these creatures, trying to attack them. And then we do have, this phone is a little weird. Yeah. So let's see if I
You're doing
can.
fine. By the way, for 15 minutes, Erfan, and they'll start now.
Oh, I start drawing now.
Yeah,
Go for it.
I saw
Go
you.
for it.
I saw you wait. I saw you were still waiting, and Gerald
All right.
was already
All right.
going.
Oh, I just started myself. But yeah, go ahead and start.
All right, so I showed that off. It's kind of weird having my phone sideways.
Takes
Yeah.
a bit
Still a
of
little new
getting
to
used
it. But so anyway, the little guys are souls that don't need a physical body. So they have to fight the creatures, and the creatures can absorb them. So they give their powers to the kids, and now the kids actually have to go and fight the monsters. And so the unique thing about Essence is when I had created it, I wanted to do something unique with heroes that I hadn't seen done before. And so I focused on heroes that share abilities with each other. So when you saw the picture of Conrad, you saw the orbs floating around him. So that's kind of like the visual I used to actually allow people to see what abilities each character has. And you can see that I use the different colors and stuff like that. So I use the chakra system, and it fits in with their personalities and everything like that. So I wanted it to be a very unique story based around the hero sharing abilities theme. So what makes these abilities unique is when I created the heroes, I also wanted them to be kind of like, if you're familiar with One Punch Man, where he basically one punches everything, I wanted them to be on an extreme level where people think, oh, that's way too powerful, or it's a different perspective. But I also broke the monsters to actually fit in with that as well. So I'll just give Conrad as an example, because it's easier to explain it than to actually go too much into other detail. So an example of one of the hero's abilities in my universe is Conrad. So Conrad can actually perceive quite a lot. He can perceive size, which lets him break his body into little particles, then reassemble. And because he can perceive at that atomic level, he can rearrange the atoms in his body and become any element that he wants to become. And he can become elements that you and I don't know exist. He can look at any of the other characters and perceive their abilities. He knows what their powers are, their strengths, their weaknesses, and how they function. So he's the character that's teaching all the others how to use their powers, because he's basically unlocked all the potential he has through his perception of his own ability. And so he's teaching them how to fight these creatures. He's the one that's helping everybody get through it. And then he can also perceive distance, so he can get a view of everything that's going on around him. So it's very, very extreme, like how the abilities work. So if he were to share his ability with the other characters, their abilities would pretty much, they would gain his ability as well. So they would be able to perceive, and they would still have their ability as well, but then they would also get a teal orb that would float around them. So I wanted it to be exciting. So I wanted it to be a different approach. Conrad doesn't have a normal hero growth that you see, or a normal character growth even. A lot of the characters, they normally have to learn, but Conrad doesn't. He's not learning. He already knows a lot of the stuff. So his growth is coming from all the different characters and what he does to help them, and what he teaches them, how he reacts to them, how he helps everybody else around him. That's where his growth comes from, and where his connection to other to the readers and viewers. So when people actually go in and start reading at the beginning of volume 1, they're like, this character is overpowered and all that. But once they read through the volume, they realize that he's still relatable. He's still a good character. They just have to wrap their heads around and take it from a different point of storytelling that you don't typically see, because everybody's working from the ground up, and I'm not.
I mean, he's only overpowered if the challenges are too easy. After all, I guess.
Say it again.
He's only overpowered if the challenges are too easy, I guess. So
Yeah.
I guess the challenges will meet his quote unquote overpoweredness.
Yep. There, people will realize as the story progresses that these characters, like they're broken characters, but their enemies are broken as well.
Yeah.
I just told Airfan about the harvesters or the monsters. I told Airfan the other day because we were talking about, like, I've already got 6 volumes prepared right now, basically, to put together. I've still got to script out 3, 4, 5, and 6. But it's that just gets the characters together, and it teaches you a little bit about their backstory, gets you a little bit of connection to the character themselves. But they won't even have started learning about their powers yet. Conrad's still got to go through the training process for those other characters. There's just so much information that's got to cover. It's probably going to be well over 30 volumes to actually put this. It could even be longer than that, just depending. But I've also created a system so people in volume 2, people will actually see that I created an infinite system. So the story, even when we end the ultimate ending of it, it can still go on infinitely.
Yeah, I think when I read the book, we joked about this when we did the pre-show. He's kind of like Professor X, like from the X-Men. It's like he's mature between, beyond his years, but that's because his power is perception. So when you read, I don't think this is a spoiler per se, but when you read the first few pages of the book, when you're introduced to him, you kind of like at first get the impression he's kind of like he's a prodigy. You feel like, oh, he's a know-it-all or something like that. But then you realize, no, it's not that. It's like his power set allows him to perceive. He can know things. And I just thought that was really neat to have this character that, you always think that there's going to be like an Obi-Wan Kenobi. There's going to be a Captain Picard or something like that. That's going to be an older leader character. But here you're exploring it as like, oh no, there's a younger character. There's a contemporary to all the other characters that are their age, but he's a mentor too. Was that something that
I wanted it to be unique. Yeah. I wanted it to be something, because the thing is, my whole process, my brain doesn't work the same way. And people, when they see some of the writing and see some of like how I do things, I'm not approaching things from the same aspect of normal storytelling. I want people to think. I want people to see that there's more than one way to tell a story. Why can't a character have an ability that allows them to do something like what Conrad's doing? It's meant to make people actually think outside the box, because my goal is to get the younger generation to actually learn to think outside the box, to actually think for themselves, instead of allowing people to say, well, it doesn't fit this storyline. It doesn't, like, because everybody uses a lot of the Star Wars, Star Trek, or Star Wars, Superman, Batman. They use a lot of those same stories, but they can't approach this. So like this story right here, they can't approach those same what do you call it? They can't approach it from the same angle, because essence isn't any of those. It's its own story. I wanted the characters to be so outrageous and so out there that people are like, they can't fit in any other story, because then they'd be broken or overpowered. But within their own story, they fit perfectly. I wanted them to be exciting. I wanted it to be something completely new, a new generation of heroes that nobody's ever seen.
I'm looking forward to this. I want to get it. It sounds really interesting. It sounds new, and you also, as you mentioned, you come from a video game standpoint with this comic at first, so that's a completely new mindset as well. How was the jump?
How was the what?
How was the jump from suddenly deciding to go into comics with it? From, you said it yourself, you weren't really a comic reader at first. How was the jump?
It's a challenge. So we did so Chris helped put the first issue together, and I kind of watched him. I kind of learned. I did read through or look through a few comics at that point to kind of get a general idea of like how the artwork works. But like, I don't have the college education. I don't have a lot of that stuff. And I don't have like an infinite, because of how expansive the story is, it's not something I can go and take 5 or 10 years going through college and doing all the stuff while also working 9-hour days, working weekends, doing shows, creating a comic book. So that's why I said I surrounded myself with a team of people that can actually help out and make up for some of those weaknesses that I have. Because yes, I could go to college and learn a lot of the stuff, but think about how long the process could be for that. So you think if it takes 5 years to get through college, it could double the time it takes to get there. Because by that 5 years, now you've wasted 5 years doing that, and now you're trying to put a story together.
And then the chances are someone else already came up with a similar idea.
And then you also run into that situation.
Well, I'm gonna push back a little bit on that in terms of I don't think you need to go to do the college thing. I think as a you got a great story, you got something that's in your head, and you pull from experiences, or you put, like you said, you surround yourself with people that maybe have that background already, and you can rely on them as being a part of your team to supplement where you hadn't got that that quote unquote college experience for writing. I think if you have that good story in your head, the internet's there, the people that you meet in the independent community, they're there to help out as well. And that to me is inspirational, because you told me before your day job is you work for Boeing?
I work for Boeing. So so the amount of overtime I work. So in 2018 and 2019, I doubled my income due to how much overtime I worked to be able to pay for all the different stuff. So I spent a lot of money, but the thing is I did the first and second issue. Then I started doing the third and fourth issue, but those 4 issues were actually not half bad. But one of the problems was I started out with charity, but if you listen to Conrad's story, Conrad's more of the leader, and it makes more sense to actually start from his point of view. Because once I got to issue 4, I started jumping because I got really confused by some of the stuff, and I had this plan, but I was working with an editor that kind of it confused me a little bit, and I was struggling, so I started making mistakes that I shouldn't have made. So when we did finish that original first volume, double pages don't work on webtoons, so I had enough double pages and there were enough mistakes. I tried to introduce too many characters at once, and that's where Ramel and my friend John Carter came into play, and they taught me what mistakes I made. They sat me down, talked to me for hours, and explained everything. So I was like, you know what, I'd rather do this right. So we ended up restarting, and this is where the new volume 1 came in. So it's not like I just sat there and accepted the volume 1 that I had. I looked at it as, okay, I use this as a learning experience, and now I will go and make sure the story is done right and correct. Yes, there might be a few little mistakes or a few little things that people might find in volume 1, but that's where people will point it out, and I'll be like, okay, and then I can. But there's always going to be that stuff in any story. People will find things you just don't catch.
5 more minutes for you guys drawing.
5 more minutes. Time is flying. But that's
Erfan is basically done.
Erfan, get the possum in there.
That's the thing about our guests.
Just, you have to tell them story about possum, how we created.
Possum. Let's hear the story.
Yeah.
The possum was a complete mistake. He wasn't supposed to exist. In the script, I said I put in the script the view should be from the perspective of a possum. So when Erfan drew the page, when he drew the panel, he drew a possum in there. I was like, you know what? That possum's super cute. He is now part of the story.
Oh, that became the mascot for Essence, the possum. Right?
He is officially the mascot because it was adorable. And I'm like, we're not erasing that. It's too cute. So now every time I'm like, there's a couple panels he'll forget, and I'm like, possum! Exclamation! Exclamation! Exclamation!
I
think there is 2 characters that make from our miscommunication. The first one is possum. The second one, Charles just made it 2 days ago, I think. And you know it, Gerald. The bleeding sperm.
No,
The
no.
what? The
The
what?
bleeding sperm.
Yeah, I think this is. I know Rick is going to enjoy this one.
The bleeding
Yeah.
sperm. Am I hearing it right?
Yes, you heard it right, and it's
Oh.
okay.
Yeah. See, hey, this is the bleeding sperm. See?
Okay.
Can you see?
Yeah.
Charles, please tell the story.
Okay, let me give Rick some context. I want to give the whole audience some context here. This is what I love about the show is because these are the happy accidents, or not even happy accidents. This is something where I want to be able to talk about the relationship that these two creators have. Charles will never claim that he's like a superstar artist, although he's very talented, and he'll give Erfan his art direction, and I'm not exactly sure what this character was supposed to be, but it was like this is Charles giving Erfan some art direction on a new character, and the first thing Erfan said, "What is this? A bloody sperm?" And it was just like I was laughing.
What is that? Is that a bloody sperm? So I make it real. See? The bloody sperm.
Oh.
What is his superpower? I don't know.
So I think
I think it will fit on trunk. You think?
Yeah, I think that's. I think you're onto something. I think when Charles said he wanted to create something completely new and that hasn't been done before, this is something that has not been done before.
So just to make the joke funnier, someone just jumped into the stream. Just jumped into the stream and saw this as the first thing.
Oh yeah. So
Hi Sarah, welcome.
yeah. So the bottom line is that we can kind of like this shows you the reason why they work well together. They have a good sense of humor, and I can tell you, Erfan, if you decided not to do comics, I think you could probably do some work in the medical community, talking about how the battle for what is it? Pregnancy. It can be the battle for pregnancy, and it can show all these sperm fighting each other to like get to the egg. And I think that if you decide to do that move, you already have your character. You probably have to talk to Charles though and get that you guys can have a joint ownership.
That's my original IP now because I'm the original creator.
Yeah, but I love that because you guys have such. When I had you guys on the pre-show, you guys were able to joke with each other. You guys were able to have a good time. And Charles, obviously, the art direction that you give with these wonderful illustrations, they all get to him. You know, whether it's a possum or the bloody sperm, I think that it translated well. And I think that's a part of the learning experience. And you get those happy accidents where you get like you get the possum mascot who's now a part of the Essence universe. And you know, it's really cool to see that. Yeah,
well, I can totally see. So like later on, when this story when the story gets big and it like blows up and everybody knows who I am, I don't think it's going to be about the artwork anymore. It's going to be about, okay, what's Charlie going to draw now?
So
it's kind of like where Stan Lee is in every movie. It's one piece of art's going to be at the back of every book for one of my comic books.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that happening. And what I would like to see is like the director's cut, where it shows the original like it's gonna be like the original thumbnails that Charles gave to Erfan. And it shows Erfan, and if we could probably get like some screen captures of Erfan's expressions whenever he sees the first thumbnails. It's like, what was Charles thinking? You know,
I remember us joking about that too, kind of like back in the old age, because you were talking about how like because the internet's made it so easy for us to like communicate. Just imagine getting a mail and getting a letter, and you open the envelope and you look at it like, what's this? I waited 3 weeks for this.
Yeah, what the heck?
Yeah,
guys, time's up.
Oh, time is up. Oh man, I was having such a good time because
I know you were dragging it along.
Yeah, I was trying to get more time.
Yeah,
Rick already knows my secret.
You got 20 minutes now.
But before we go into the art,
Because of your bloody sperm talk.
It bought you time.
it did.
It kept
All right,
Rick distracted.
Oh, look at this artwork! This is incredible. Erfan, can you zoom in
Yeah.
a little bit?
All right.
Let's zoom in.
Just okay.
Look at this. He did this in 20 minutes. This is like finished art. You could have a new poster that you could put on you could take around on your shows, Charles. Look at this. He even put like the screen tones in there with some texturing. Just brilliant.
Yeah, because usually I skip the clean sketch for the drawing.
Uh-huh.
So it goes from from this
Yes. Look at that. From that
to this, yeah. Because industry over Indonesia is very very fast, so usually I have to do 2 pages a day.
What?
So that 2 pages a day.
2 pages a day.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Webtoon is more harder. I mean, you in a week you have to do like 50 panels, which is just like doing 10 pages, and color, and story, and letter
Gosh.
by yourself. Yes, that's how hard.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I can see this.
So,
yeah. Look at this.
I'm get
I
used
want-
to working
Yeah.
like this. From
incredible workflow. Yeah. Charles, did
Yeah,
you get to witness this? Like, or were you still like totally enthralled with the bloody sperm comments? But I tell you, when we got now that I see it,
we were showing most of Erfan's progress.
that's so funny.
Why does it have to be?
So this is orbs. Becoming orbs.
Why does it have to be angry though?
Really?
Yeah, that look, man, he looks beat up. I hope he was able to. I hope he was able to get to the egg. But that looks great. Both of them look awesome. All right,
My
so
face
I
is
don't.
probably super red right now.
Yeah, probably. So I can't hold a candle to that. I think what Erfan did was totally awesome. I just like. No bloody sperm in mine, but I wanted to show him doing like a, I don't know, when I read the comic that you gave me, Rob, he did, what is it? His Conrad's character is that he is a know-it-all because he does know it all, and it's not his fault. It's part of his his power is that he can perceive things. And I thought, once I got over that hurdle, because when you first meet him, he does seem a little like, he's that kid when you're in elementary school that just knows everybody. His dad is the best. His mom is the best. He can draw like no other person. He's just awesome. And I kind of got that impression at first. But then when I read into it, that's his power set. And even when he was training them, it was really cool because he was so positive. He was smiling, he was joking back with them, and he was teaching them. So I really wanted to come across showing him that he's fun. He's a very fun character, but he's a very strong character in himself too. So really had a treat. I think that if you guys in the audience, if you want to pick up this book, definitely check out those links at the bottom. Buy Essence. It's just really neat. Find out more about Conrad. So let's did anybody in our art show, did they draw along with us, Rick?
I haven't gotten anything yet.
Okay. All right.
But, if you've been drawing along, post it in art show and I'll show it up whenever I see it, and then comment here for me to know.
Yeah, definitely do that. So right now we're gonna get to our second drawing challenge, and I know Rick is under the weather. Normally this is called.
I got one.
Oh, you got one. Okay, so I was telling our guests.
I have a really bad feeling about this. It's gonna be something with Star Wars and the bloody sperm.
No, that bloody sperm idea came too late, sadly.
All right, so let's. So I'm gonna put a little introduction. So basically, the second challenge is called the Rick challenge, the co-host challenge.
One second, Erfan, your cam.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Yep, you're showing.
What happened? Sorry,
I think you're
sorry.
showing all of us. That's
You
okay.
want to
Oh,
show
look
your
at that.
pretty face.
Oh, whoa. What happened? What happened?
I think it's your face cam. Gotta turn your face cam back on.
Yeah, sorry.
Oh, that works too.
Oh yeah,
All right,
go on, Daryl, while he tries to work.
Yeah. Okay. So, but while we wait on Erfan to get his cam back up there, so basically the co-host challenge is the Rick challenge. That's where Rick gets to come use his devious sensibilities to come up with a really cool challenge that I don't know about, our guest doesn't know about. And in the case of when we have like a writer or a non-drawing guest, I always encourage Rick to get them involved. So Charles, be very, very, very cognizant.
I think you'll like this because it was based on something you said. It was based on something you said earlier. That you
really? Okay.
That Charles were a big Warcraft 3 fan.
Oh wait, okay, we lost.
He's still around. He's still around. Hopefully, he can still hear us.
Okay, well, let's make sure he gets on because I don't want you to have to explain twice what it's about.
Yeah.
Let me send him a message and.
While we do that, Dan Martinez came on. Hey everyone.
Hey Dan.
Hey, Dan. Taylor loved you guys' energy.
Let me
Thanks,
see.
Taylor.
So you got a good following, Charles.
Yeah. I have a few people that are showing up and stuff like that. It's I know there's a fair amount of people that are pretty excited about it. We can also show off. Did you want to actually show off a little bit of? I can explain a little bit of the story while we kind of wait for Erfan to kind of figure some of it out. Oh
yeah, go for it.
Erfan said that his cam died.
Oh no. Okay.
Can you still log in just with his picture then? And just get him to log in without his cam, I guess. I'm not the only one without cam today.
Yeah, we just need to hear his voice.
And see his wonderful art.
Yeah, well, we can see his art cam. So I know that we can still see his art, but I want him to like talk. I want him to.
I think he's here.
Oh, there he is.
But no cam yet. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's okay. That's okay. We'll go. Oh, he disappeared again. Okay, I'm not gonna hit.
What is Comics Cast without technical difficulties? Am I right?
Yep. Erfan, can you hear us? Erfan?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay.
I can hear
Okay,
you.
good.
Yeah.
We'll leave it like this because we can still see your art app. So that we'll just work with this for now. Yeah, perfect. Okay, so Rick, I've already told everybody in terms of what the challenge is going to be about, but you get to give the specifics. I'm hoping that it's something that Charles can contribute to. So I'll leave it up to you.
Hopefully, well, Charles can, as he mentioned, he was a big fan of Warcraft 3 before he even got started with making the comic here. So I started, and as people know, I have this tendency to make a wheel like this.
What is this wheel called? What is it called?
The wheel of Gerald's misfortune. So as you can say, I got two wheels. The first one here is Warcraft 3 classes. You probably recognize most of them, Charles.
Yeah.
And on the other one, I got a few Nintendo characters. So we are gonna do a little hybrid merging of whatever pick gets picked. You with me so far? Are you with me so far, Erfan?
Okay.
Okay. We're gonna do a fusion. We're gonna do a fusion.
Yeah, but it's my turn now.
Okay. I just want to I want to let Charles maybe add a few characters of his own.
Yeah, I was about to. Yeah, well, okay.
Go for it.
God damn it. Even when I'm sick, he won't let me try. No.
Okay. Go for it.
Do you have more ideas for classes you wish to get involved? Or Nintendo characters, for that matter? These are the Nintendo characters I got: Yoshi, Donkey Kong, Mega Man, Kirby, Link, Wario, Zelda,
You should do
Luigi.
Ness. Ness from are you familiar with Ness at all? Actually, let's do one of Erfan's favorite characters. So you're what game is it? You like Street Fighter? Was it Street Fighter, Erfan?
Yep. FM? I think he's gone. Is he gone? Oh wait, he
still there.
got tossed out. No, he got he got.
Oh,
Can you
kicked
hear
out.
me?
Yeah,
Can you
now
hear
he's
me?
there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like Kazuya from Tekken or Chun-Li from Street Fighter.
Okay, Chun-Li. So we're gonna keep it Nintendo with the and Charles, anything character classes?
So I got to make sure that Erfan is able to.
So Erfan,
I'm trying to think of.
are you familiar? Are you familiar with the Warcraft universe?
Not quite familiar.
Are you
I-
familiar with the Dungeons and Dragons universe?
Also not familiar. But I can try to draw.
I mean, you probably know what a bard is, like fantasy bard, and
What about StarCraft? Are you familiar with StarCraft at all?
That I only play fighting games, gentlemen.
okay, this will be fun. I do believe what I have here is maybe not the Demon Hunter, but hopefully he'll work them out. It won't be too hard.
Do Blade Master.
Oh yeah, Blade Master. Yeah, of course. That's actually that was my favorite class in Warcraft 3.
Okay. Well,
Okay, I think that'll do then. So let's start.
yeah. Part
Let's
of the
start
fun. I was going to say part of the fun, Erfan, is not knowing, because Rick loved it. I don't know when I don't have a clue. But usually it's more for me.
When I make something up that Gerald doesn't have a clue about and accidentally makes Rocksteady. That's fun.
Yes, that's exactly it. All right, let's figure out what Erfan is gonna have. So go for it.
Yeah, so his Nintendo character is going to be.
Come on, Chun-Li. Come on, Chun-Li. Shy guy.
Shy guy.
Yeah.
Who's Shy Guy? I don't even know.
Shy
who
Guy is the guy in red and that have that the white sad mask in Mario.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Oh yeah, I do remember Shy Guy.
And let's see the class.
Oh, okay. Shy Guy Blade Master. Shy Guy Barbarian.
Oh.
That's gonna be fun.
Yeah. Barbarian, that class, you know what is, right? Erfan?
Yes.
Yes.
I think.
That's
Yeah, just draw Conan.
just draw an angry man. That
Just
doesn't
think of
play.
Masters of the Universe, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Could do
Okay,
that.
so let's see Gerald.
All right. I'm probably gonna get Yoshi. Oh, is there a Yoshi on here? I got Shy Guy.
No.
I don't get Shy Guy.
No.
Okay. All right. Oh, see, Rick hasn't rigged the wheel.
You get. Ooh.
I get Zelda. Oh, okay, Zelda.
You get the most humanoid of the characters here.
Yeah, she's tough though.
And the class is.
Warlock.
You got it. Nah, you know what? Nah, that's
No.
too easy. That's too easy, Charles. You got to agree. That was too easy. No, that's too easy as well.
This is the way it is. Rick,
To put all these in.
No, here. You know what? You get, Gerald. You get Death Knight.
see, Rick. When Oz fails, Rick just gives me the challenge. Okay, so I get Zelda Death Knight.
Yeah.
Okay, Zelda Death Knight.
And you
Okay.
got 20 minutes. And for people at home, I'll show you the 2 wheels again. Pick a class and pick a character, and then do your own mix of whatever you feel like, and then share it with us after the 20 minutes that starts now.
Okay, all right.
Barbarian.
So This is tough. A Death Knight.
No, this is easy, Gerald. What do you
Is
mean?
it?
Totally
Says the
easy.
guy. Says the guy who's not drawing. He's gonna tell me it's totally easy. Okay. All right. Zelda
I'm really
Death Knight.
curious to see what Erfan comes up with.
I don't know.
Well, he came up with a bloody sperm. He got a good creative mind. That's
He actually took it the whole way and he drew it. So.
Yeah.
That's so funny. All right. The clock is ticking now.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
He's gonna draw a barbarian with a shy guy's face.
Yeah, probably.
Ryan Hedrick's I believe. So you got some trust behind you guys and your art. And hang on,
You should,
Gerald, can you take this for a second? Gerald, I need to cough. Can you take it?
Oh yeah. Go for it. All right. So Erfan, you said that you're mostly just into fighting games, right? You mentioned Tekken.
Yeah.
Who's your
Tekken
favorite?
sorry, my favorite is
Tekken and-
Kazuya
Kazuya.
Mishima. He's been a DLC character at Smash, I think. Latest DLC character, yeah. Been very fond of fighting games since I think junior high school. Play at the arcade from
Oh,
open to close.
were you delivering like smackdowns on everybody? Like, did you own the console? Like nobody
I'm
could
pretty
play.
good, I think.
And
I
Charles,
was more of a Jin Kazama fan, so
Jin
Mm.
Kazama, yeah.
we should fight, Erfan.
Yeah.
I was
Sometimes.
I was a Nina Williams. I like Nina Williams. I thought
Of
she
course
was.
you did. Of course you did.
Of course it is.
What are you saying, Rick? What are you saying?
Absolutely nothing. Charles, what about you? Was it just a strategy?
I haven't played any of the fighting games since Super Nintendo.
Oh,
Were you not
Well-
even like
well-
Smash Brothers or anything like that?
Oh, I did play a little bit of Smash Brothers. Okay, I will admit, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, then you still had to play the greatest fighting game of all times, which is Street Fighter 2.
Street Fighter 2,
Super.
yeah.
Mhm.
Like I played, I used to play Mortal Kombat a lot. That was the
Oh,
game. I remember the killer combos and all the different things from that. So those were the days.
I'm a huge Mortal Kombat fan.
Yeah, you just said the magic
Mortal
word.
Kombat.
Yeah, because Rick loves Mortal Kombat. He was Did you guys watch the Mortal Kombat movie that came out this year? Did you guys
I
have a opinion?
I haven't watched it.
Yeah,
but I
same
think
here.
It's great.
No, Rick,
I'm leaving. I'm leaving.
I know,
Bye.
Rick is gonna go. You guys haven't watched it? Oh.
He's like, I can't talk to you anymore.
No, I thought you were good people.
He holds the control. He holds the control over the show too.
I thought you guys were good people. I guess I'm wrong.
He thought he knew you, Daryl. Apparently.
Yeah, he did. Well, I don't need to give Rick reasons to not like me. He likes me, but he doesn't like me. So it's a combination.
Jerry is very happy that I'm sick today because I'm being very nice to him considering.
And I come back every week because I want to hear Rick beat up on me. That's the way it goes. So
I thought you came back because Joe forced you.
it could be that too, I guess. I come back every week because of guests like Charles and Erfan. That's why I come back.
So Charles, obviously in order to have this creative mind to come up with this comic in yourself, you must have. Now, if not comics, maybe the inspiration came from animated movies and shows and games, or where did it come from?
So my ideas.
Yeah, like your inspiration for doing it.
Like Warcraft 3 is kind of where it started. I wanted to create a video game, but it's all about it like I wanted to do something different. So like how my brain works. So like I play Magic the Gathering, and a lot of people, when you see them go and build decks, they always look up. A lot of people will look up online and they'll just modify a little something. But I always liked to be the person that challenged it all and created my own thing or did something different. I actually, one of my first Pro Tour qualifiers, I got 4th place
Wow.
in Seattle.
Whoa.
So,
So it wasn't
it
just
was
so
a
it.
deck that I built.
Yeah.
But it's something that I like to do things different. So my brain, like, if Gerald, did you get to read the first issue of Crunk Self Adventures?
I did. I actually read it like right before we got on here, and we're going to talk a little bit about Crunk at the end of the show after we do
you
the live.
can see how I do things might do things a little different or unique, or I try to add a little twist to everything. But I really wanted to. I like to do things that requires a lot of thinking. So Essence was more complicated, and I haven't seen anybody do the hero sharing abilities things, or at least nothing that's been popular. Thanks, Eric.
What did Eric say? Oh, Crunk is great.
But Essence, it's got a lot more complexity. So like you heard Conrad's ability, but when, like, if you do Charity's ability, let me grab a print real quick because I can show it off. See if this will work a little bit better.
Oh yeah.
Let me look at it. Whoa, look at that. So Charity is another character that has not been introduced yet.
She does make her appearance in Volume 2.
Oh, spoiler alert! Wow, we get a exclusive.
Yes,
Right.
yes. Well, I was talking to Charles about that. It's like we're not technically spoiling certain things because they are available. If you check out the website, the 12 characters have been revealed. They just haven't been shown in the comic yet.
I'm choosing to see it as an exclusive because we are that good, because we are who we are.
Yeah, I'll agree with you. I'll go with you on that.
To believe that that's what it is.
Yeah. And you can't change that.
But so her ability is called Regrowth, and she, like, obviously most stories will have the plant-based character. So like where Conrad has like the avatar status of like every elemental property that he can have, he and his perception and his ability, it doesn't make him stronger than any of the other characters, and that's where like a character like Charity comes into play. So like her ability Regrowth gives her the connection to nature. So any ability that's connected to hers is also transferred over to like all the plants and animals that are around her. So if she were to share her ability with Conrad, any ability that Conrad has, including his own, he added the bloody sperm.
Yeah,
Just when you thought it was done, it still appears.
They were friends.
I just love the I was about to say erection, but I meant reaction. I love the reaction. I love the. God damn it.
Okay.
I love the reaction of Charles every time he sees it.
So
well, my face turns red because it's embarrassing in a little way, but Airfan's enjoying this, so it's a good thing.
And you know, Rick couldn't resist. He could not resist. And
it was actually not on purpose. I will admit it when it is on purpose, but it wasn't on purpose that I was going to say. I was going to say reaction. Reaction.
Reaction. Yeah.
Not
good
erection.
Good one.
All I did was I was talking and I look up at the screen and there it is.
I keep thinking, what is his power? I mean, like, trying to figure out. I mean, he can make man pregnant. I don't know, maybe like some kind of Punisher. When you've been mean to women and children, wham, pregnant. I don't know.
I can tell, Rick, you're biting your tongue. I know you have plenty of things that you want to say. I know you.
Yeah, but now Erfan seems to have this covered. We seem to be on the same wavelength. I like it.
Oh my
I
god.
mean, the shy guy barbarian could also be the bloody sperm son.
Oh, yeah.
That's what that.
All right, to like get things on track again. How much time do we have? How much time do we have?
You got like 6-7 minutes.
Oh my
7 minutes.
gosh, Erfan, you got it. Erfan, go ahead and draw the possum in there.
Yeah, let's go ahead and throw the
Definitely.
possum in there.
The
Yeah.
infertility death night.
Infertility death night. Yeah. Comment from Ryan Hedricks. Good one.
That's pretty funny. Thanks, Ryan. So anyway, I'll get back to charity now that we've spent enough
Yeah,
time.
let's talk about charity. Yeah.
So charity, so if she were to share with Conrad, if the plants and animals would gain all of the abilities that Conrad has, so they would gain the perception, and if two more abilities were being shared with Conrad, for example, the plants and animals would also gain all those abilities because they are attached to Conrad, who has her ability. So if she's sharing with multiple people, the plants and animals can have multiple abilities without it impacting them like the other characters.
Yeah,
So,
I want to. There was one really cool twist that you had told when I read the book. I don't think this is necessarily a spoiler, but you were talking about how it's not like Conrad's power of perception. It's like they attain like his knowledge or his skills, but it's only fleeting, right? It's only
if he shares with them, he still retains his own powers. It's not like he's got that cost because the enemies are so strong. I needed to make sure the characters, because I want the characters to be exciting. So I created these enemies that are just insanely powerful, but the characters need to be insanely powerful too. But it will sit, like I said, it sets them apart from a large quantity of all the other heroes that you ever see. Puts them in a different category where everybody puts all their characters in a bubble. I wanted my characters to be outside that bubble. Kind of like One Punch Man. He's not inside that bubble.
Right.
He already finished the possum, and he's got like 5 minutes left.
Jeez, you're too fast. You are too fast.
What was it that you mentioned? Sorry, my brain got a little sidetracked there.
I wonder why. I think you were talking about charity and what else, Jared? There was something else you mentioned.
All the abilities that are all the abilities that are attached with the plants and animals. But should I tell them about like the manipulation and stuff like that, Gerald?
You can tell as much as you want. I don't want you to give away, everything, but you tell as much as you feel like you need to. It's completely up to you.
Well, I'll let them figure it out through reading the volume. Because talking about some of the characters, like people can go on the website if they really want to and learn more about the characters. And then like they can even message me and stuff. Because like you said, we don't want to spoil it for everybody who's watching it. Giving charity and Conrad's pretty good, but like I'm pretty excited about volume 2 because it's actually, I think it's going to be better just because of the page layouts, because of the action, and because of how it's set up. Volume 1 is more like an information guide. It's a pilot, kind of like it's teaching you all about the world, all about the universe. It gives you a little bit of information without diving too much into the backstories of the other characters. Then volume 2 kind of gets a little bit more in depth, and you get to see a lot more actions and see some of the struggles and what's going on.
Yeah, I think that's brilliant in terms of like being able to, show the characters and not give away everything, but I think that it's enough of a tease. Yeah.
Oh,
Okay, go ahead.
We'll talk about those guys in a second because they're going to do and what I think we should do for the third picture is you kind of look at because you've already seen some of the bad monsters, and Erfan draw some of the bad monsters. So Erfan, you guys could come up with your own versions of them too, because when I did the monsters and stuff, they aren't meant to actually all look the same. They're going to have different variations and different kinds.
Erfan already made a really great baddie right here on the left.
Yeah, maybe this is a future variant
The
of
bloodied, the bloodied one. I mean,
And he
It's-
made it so that it's like ooh at the sperm. It's like
Yeah.
it's very enamored by the sperm.
and the possum as well. It's like, oh my god, what's that?
Actually, Erfan, you should save that and we should get prints for it.
All right.
We should turn that into prints and then actually like be like, this was one of the comic casts. Like, it's print ready. It is actually really cool too. That's the thing is.
This is why I love with my challenges. It's when stuff like this comes up. Creation.
Oh,
like
you
this.
even added question marks.
I'm resisting. I usually I don't like to look at our guest work until the end, but I'm really finding it hard to resist because I'm sure it's.
He is basically done, Jeremy. We're just waiting for you right now.
He's
Oh, is it all
5 minutes.
Yeah.
Well, Rick likes to call time and then watch me panic when he does it.
But there is 4 more minutes.
4 more minutes. Okay.
Yeah.
4 more minutes.
We should have Erfan draw another picture.
Yeah,
Yeah.
go for it.
I
would love-
was about to say he can make 4 more pictures to it.
he is that fast. He is that fast.
But so as far as like the story goes, another thing we should. Oh, hey Noelle, that's my sister.
Oh, yeah.
Wow, how big is your family?
It's big.
It's big, yeah, because you mentioned that your other sister was on here earlier, so.
Yeah. My cousin, a couple cousins actually stopped by, and then my sister.
Yeah.
Well, the more the merrier.
Yes,
Yeah.
bring them all. Bring them all.
It shows the support and stuff that I've got behind me from like friends, coworkers, and acquaintances, and some people I haven't actually gotten to meet in person, but they like what I'm doing, and I'm pretty excited to actually get to show it off and get the books out because we should be getting the order of 2,000 books next month, which is exciting because I've been waiting on those for quite a while. And so I'm looking forward to that because I'm actually going to be in Emerald City next year. I'll be in San Diego.
Wow.
Press.
So they've already announced, or they opened the submissions for people to get to San Diego.
I do it right before, so I got in, but I'm actually glad COVID happened like it did because it slowed me down, allowed me to get all this stuff done, and it pushed San Diego out by 2 years. So now I've got volume 1. I'll actually I'm guessing I'll have volume 2 ready by then and printed, and I'll have the physical copies. We'll be doing a Kickstarter around March or April for volume 2, but it's not necessarily really for volume 2. It's to raise money for the animation because I'm actually working with an animator right now that works with Disney. Well, he's a storyboard artist, but animator, same thing. But he's going to be helping put it together. And when he saw the work it was at Washington State Summer Con as well. He was walking by complimenting it a lot and saying how much he liked the artwork, and then we got introduced through his cousins because I didn't want to bug him while I was at the show, but his cousins were very adamant about me going and saying hi, so he invited me out to Dragon Con, and I
Couldn't say no. Could not say no.
in the background.
And now Charles saw the picture again. That's why he started laughing.
Oh, okay. I can't get in on all the inside jokes because I'm not looking. I'm not watching.
There's
But
30 seconds to go.
30 seconds. Ugh, okay.
But what was I? But he's going to do a 1-minute animation, so I'm going to be putting that together, and then hopefully around.
I am dying.
Animation. This is
No, he's animating the bloodies
What?
to move
He has
around.
time to do an
Daryl's gonna
animation.
go through and find this timestamp and go and look at it to see what Erfan is doing.
Yeah, I'm sure it's spectacular.
It's 1:40 and it's pencils down. So you can see it now. You can see it now, Gerald.
Oh, he appeared on this one too.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that! Look at that! Hey, can you, let's zoom in. Let's zoom in. I want to see this.
Oh yeah, this one I used a different brush.
Oh.
So I like to use this like triple.
That looks so yeah, just like Jimmy said, it's awesome.
Yeah.
I think you have your new signature file that you're gonna just put your initials on either side of the bloody sperm, and that's gonna be your signature for all your pieces. That looks great. So much fun. And you definitely captured the shy guy barbarian.
Yeah, for sure.
And there's
I mean,
the possum.
Yeah, I mean something else is stealing the picture, but he definitely caught the.
You got 3 characters in the picture.
Yeah.
How many did you get, Gerald?
I only got one.
I
got one. So
one. Yeah.
So I decided to go in like the if Zelda was like Hela from if you guys watched Thor Ragnarok. So I gave her that really crazy spiky headdress to complement her ears, and then I gave her like a exposed neckline and made it look kind of like venom teeth. And I don't know if you guys noticed the Triforce. I put little Triforce emblems in there as well. But anyway, I tell you, I can't hold a candle to you, Erfan. Your bloody sperm. It totally takes the illustrations to another level. It's to another level.
This is fun.
Okay. Oh, it was great. It was great. So, Rick, did anybody draw along with us?
Not yet.
Oh my
sadly.
gosh! Why are
Please
people
draw the bloody sperm.
Sarah,
Anybody draw?
Sarah will be here for the next one. She just got
Okay.
home.
Okay. All right. Well, hopefully.
I can draw along, but my drawing like 10 seconds.
No, you should draw along, Charles. You should definitely draw along. So,
but before we go on,
let me go grab my iPad really quick.
Okay. All right.
So 1 second, yeah. Before we go on, am I still? I can see if people can hear me.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I can hear you.
I have to jump out for now. I'm, as said, very under the weather. And what are you doing, Gerald?
Oh, I'm like letting you talk. Okay.
I'm very under the weather. And I wish I could stay, but I need to jump out for right now. Erfan.
Yes.
I will speak to you later. You are a fun guy, and I'll also speak to Charles later. Hilarious people. And I'll see you all later.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Charles,
I'll see you later.
I just want to let you know that Rick has to. Oh, go ahead, Rick. Go ahead. You can say.
Yeah, I got to jump out. I feel I'm just too sick to move on. Sorry about that, buddy.
Oh, you're good.
But good meeting you. Good meeting people, the new people here in the chat, and don't ruin it all, Gerald, while I'm gone.
Oh yeah, I won't ruin anything. I'll try not to. So, Rick, Rick has to step out. So, I would love for all of our Comics Cast audience to send him, if you can, send him a personal message or just drop it in the chat field, hoping that Rick feels better. He is definitely a important part of the team here at Comics Cast, and I definitely the experience on Let It Out would not be the same without having Rick. So hopefully, join me in wishing him well in terms of getting better. So I'm glad that he was able to maintain his healthiness up to this point, so he could do at least his Rick challenge. So as we move into our third live drawing. I think Charles mentioned it. We're going to be doing a villain character from from the Essence series. So let me pull up. Let me share. Or did you see something?
I've got to let my brain think because it's going to be. I don't know. It's gonna be
Okay.
circle.
All right. Well, you definitely save that. Save that. So let me share this real quick. Now, I've been doing my best to not like give away the whole, because I want everybody in our audience to support Charles and Erfan, with their work that they're doing. And so I don't want to show everything, but I want to show.
You can show enough because the support will come from volume 2, 3, and 4. So, or just from I don't have a problem with showing off volume 1 at all.
Okay.
It's already funded. What volumes I do sell, it's about getting it to spread. So like even volume 1 is available on the front page of my website. People go and read it or download it and share it with friends. That's the goal, is to get it to spread as much as possible. Even on Webtoons, we're sending it out to people. Okay.
All right. Well, I do have that artwork that you shared with me, the black and white artwork. That was kind of like a not really a spoiler, but it could be a reveal. Did you want me? Is it okay to share that one?
From volume 2, the big monster.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
We're going to be putting him in the animation anyway. So.
Okay. So it's okay.
Yeah. You go ahead.
Okay. All right. Well, let me show you this first. This is an incredible action scene, and this is Conrad. This is Conrad when he goes ballistic. If you tick off Conrad, he no longer becomes the nice Professor X trainer guy. He becomes he sort of like lets the other kids sort of say, "Hey, you guys hang back. I'm going to take care of this." And I'm not going to say what happened that triggered him, but he goes all like ballistic on these villains, and they're called the Harvesters. And this is him already decimating them, but you can kind of see what they kind of look like from here. They from what Charles described to me, they're somewhat amorphic in the sense that every Harvester can kind of have its own look to it, but they're like 100% evil, and they have like these multiple appendages, and they just look like nightmare fuel. If this was like a baddie in your worst nightmare, he's Erfan and Charles found a way to put them in a comic book. So the thing that I alluded to, so like if people want to draw along with us, kind of get an idea. Of course, these are all chop shops. They've already been taken down, but you can kind of see here. I'm going to leave it like this. They're getting ready to bum rush Conrad. You're going to have to buy the book to find out what happens after this particular page. But let me share one reveal. Let me stop the screen and share this. This is a Comics Cast exclusive. This is art that was just sent to me yesterday. And we have this. And I was like, what? What is this? It just looks so... Erfan, I know your bloody sperm was a new level of artistic achievement, but I have to say that this was really cool too. This is just I don't know. Charles, do you want to talk a little bit about this before we get into our live drawing challenge?
The only thing I'll say is this is like one of the bigger bad guys that are shown in the beginning stages or beginning pages of volume 2. But I won't go into too much detail for it because I want people to actually get to see it and stuff like that, and see where he comes from and how it happens and everything. But I want we're going to be using him in the kind of the beginning. So when we actually do an animation, we're going to start from the very end part of the entire series. So think about how a season is. You'll actually get to see a little portion of the end part of the season, and then it'll phase back 10 years before everything happened, and then go to Conrad. And that's where everything will happen in volume 1.
Okay. So
you'll see him in the animation.
Yeah.
I would have actually, if I had thought about it, I probably would have had it added into the beginning pages, but we took some of the pages that I had previously done a couple of years ago. And that's what made up the first 15, 20 pages. And then I had Federico actually work on some more work before he went to Marvel.
Okay. Well, that sounds really cool. We get a little official reveal here. One of the big baddies that's in the Essence universe. And
Yeah, there's gonna be a lot. There's gonna be a lot of them, so it's not even something that really scares me, because there's gonna be so many different characters and creatures that people are gonna get to see. It's like I said, in volume 2, people will actually see how I was able to create an infinite potential for infinite stories.
Yeah, and so before we get into the live drawing, I just want to show some of these comments here. We got the co-founder of Comics Cast, my partner in crime, Joe Tolliver. He's saying insane inks. So Erfan, yeah, we're totally in awe of your. I mean, yeah, I would actually love to see what kind of art direction Charles gave for this particular harvester before it came to this. So we could do
actually,
that.
I saved him the despair, and I went and pulled up references for kind of like all the different things. So like a idea. So I had like 40 different pictures of what a harvester could look like, and I sent him all the different ones, and like they have different stages and everything like that. So
yeah, well, you got a lot of.
I just won't reveal too much. Like I could literally talk for hours and not touch on the same subject.
Yeah, and normally I would like egg you on, but I don't want people to get spoiled by all this stuff, because I would love to hear more about it. But we got lots of people here that are just really loving the look here. Everything from dope to wow, or these are all from Ryan. Excited. You got Sarah saying this is dope. You got Saeed saying it's nice. Yeah, just really lots of people here. We got Vic, who was a guest on our show a couple weeks ago, and he was also saying absolutely amazing. So lots of high praise here. Nice puppy. So, that's a new one. It's a nice looking puppy. So I want to encourage our audience, if you're watching this, and no matter what your skill level is, if you're fanboying as much as I am, I encourage you to pick up a pencil, draw along with us. Just let us know in the chat field that you are drawing. Now, I am going to be one man short here, so I'm going to do my best to like draw, look at the chats, and then of course interact with our guests here. But I encourage all of you guys to and gals, Sarah, I'm talking to you. I would love for us to do our version of the Harvester, and this is like a member of the Harvester group, I guess. Yeah.
So the thing about the Harvesters is like, and later on, I'll even be able to do contests and stuff like that, and people's art can be featured in the story. Because harvesters don't need to have a specific. So if you like look at him, if you saw some of the other pages in volume 2, there are a lot of other things. But the reason I chose to reveal this guy is because he's going to get revealed in December with the video anyway. So it's not really a big deal. Plus, it gets people to be like, "Holy crap, this is cool. Who is it?" I mean, even when they released the. I'm trying to think of what's his name, the Venom bad guy that's recently
Carnage.
Not Carnage, the main bad, like the new bad.
Oh, King in Black. Right?
King in Black, that's what I'm thinking. King in Black. They released him and showed him off, like even the new Warriors. God be it.
Well, we won't go there in terms of like the new Warriors and
but they released them well before they actually created their story. So
yes, you're right. Right.
We'll start like releasing a few of the pictures here and there and showing off some of the work before volume 2 comes out. But we're getting everything kind of started. So like I'm building up on volume 1, then volume 2 will kind of get a little of excitement. Then volume 3 will hopefully be able to get enough people, and then we'll be able to do a lot more. But because of my schedule, because of everything else, I pick and choose what I have to focus on.
Yeah. Okay. Well, save some of the talk about. I guess we talked a little bit already about this harvester. You can't reveal much more about it, but maybe you can just talk about some of the the challenges, or maybe the species, or I don't know, just something a little bit more without spoiling it as we draw along. So, Erfan, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, great. Okay, go ahead and clear your canvas. Make sure you save that, because I'm sure that Charles wants a copy of this shy guy barbarian with the
bloody sperm and a possum.
With the bloody and the possum. Yes. All right, so we'll start the clock right now. It's 10 after the past hour, so let's we'll give us about 15 minutes on this. So what I'm going to do, Erfan, is I'm going to isolate your camera so it's soloed out, because I want people to really get an appreciation of you coming up with something from beginning to end and be able to just observe the coolness. But Charles, I want you to kind of like, just talk a little bit more. How about this? We don't need to go into too much about the specifics about the harvesters, but anything that you want to reveal about, the challenges, maybe, I don't know if maybe the other 8 warriors that have yet to be introduced, because, in the first trade paperback, we only got to see the first 4. Do they come to the rescue, or are they brought out? I don't know if there's anything that you can do that's not spoiler territory, but just be able to like give people a tease.
Talk a little bit about I can talk about how some of the abilities interact and stuff like that.
Yes,
yes. So I'll kind of, so we've got 15 minutes. I could probably get through a fair amount of characters. There is one thing. Can you show them the page where he like talks about like the creation and stuff like that? The one
talks about the creation. Are you talking about like
material manipulation and stuff?
Are you talking about like the little bios that were at the end of the trade paper? Okay, I tell you what. If you have those graphics, you have the ability to share a screen too. So if you look at the bottom of the controls, there's a thing that says share screen, and if you want to pull up whatever specific thing that you want to show, you just need to share that, and we can look at it together. So while you're talking, pull up those things a little later on, and then I'll help you share it. But I'm going to isolate Erfan's drawing app, and you just talk. And then when you're ready to show that, we'll talk more about. We'll show that. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
So I'll just explain it. So one of the things that they're able to do is the characters are able to manipulate matter. So they can actually put their essence and put it into non-living matter or substances, or like how dark matter is all around us, technically all around us, or it takes up 70% of space, but we don't interact with it, or we don't know of its existence because we can't really, what's it called?
We can't touch it. We can't document it. We can't feel it. It's all theoretical. Yeah,
it's all theoretical, so we can't prove it. That's what it is. We can't prove that its existence, but we know it exists or have the feeling. So they're able to put their essence into the dark matter, which allows them to create even stronger substances because it actually forces the dark matter to take on a physical form. And so with that allowed me to actually because like Conrad, for example, his ability already is all the elements, all the different, like the perception and stuff like that. So you can't just go in and create a character with similar things. Otherwise it becomes too, it becomes too similar, and then it's not exciting. It loses a lot of that stuff. So by doing that, you create a whole new system of allowing characters that can create different, use their abilities in different ways. So Ramir is the blue character, and if you go on the website, you can actually look him up. But Ramir is the blue character, and he is able to, the objects that he empowers are able to regenerate essence. So normally the characters, when they empower something, like they create the weapons or the golems, they can't actually regenerate, but his do, which actually makes him very powerful, because he could literally empower one of those little golem guys and walk away, and those golem guys could actually create more golems on their own, where the other characters, that's not possible. Charity can kind of do it, but not at his level. So Charity is regrowth. It's the plant-based one. So because the plants are living species, they'll protect the empowered object, and they'll use their essence to actually empower it. But the effect is not going to be as good as like what Ramir can do. An example for like the yellow character, or Sonnet, when her ability is called alteration. So think of like how you have stats in a video game where you have HP, strength, speed, intelligence, charisma, all that stuff. Well, she can alter all of those stats to be anything she like wants to be. So she could take all her intelligence and put it into strength, or manipulate how her stats work But if she puts it into an object, the object doesn't need speed, it doesn't need intelligence, it doesn't need regeneration. So she could focus all of that attention on like physical. So she literally turns a rock or a piece of sand into a diamond.
Man, I was just listening to you talk about this, and it's like, so were you a big like earth science guy? I mean, did you? It just seems like when you were younger, you were fascinated with science, because I love how you're tying all these things together. You know.
Yeah, I was the bug guy. Like I loved running around in nature and catching animals and insects. Luckily, I didn't live in Florida. Otherwise, I'd probably be eaten by a crocodile or something like that. Right. That, or thankfully, I don't live anywhere where there's giant or bloody sperms.
I was gonna say, maybe you're gonna say giant spiders or anacondas or like Australia, but somehow it always goes back to the bloody sperm.
That's gonna be what we remember from the show. Everybody's that.
Yes,
that's gonna be the thing that stands out.
Yes, it is. It is. You created a monster. You created him. It's like, no, I'm not even scared of the monsters.
I helped lead it there. He just finished the work.
But anyway, go ahead. Keep on talking. I want to hear more about the science side of like how you, because obviously I know you said you're a fan of like
there's a lot of science behind it. I wanted it to, like I said, I wanted it to be exciting. I wanted it to focus on hero sharing abilities. I literally just focused on hero sharing abilities, and that's what I wanted to do because I haven't seen it done. And I think that when people would do it, they wouldn't do it the same way because their mindset's not set this way. Their mindset's set in a completely different avenue. So I had to really, really, really put a lot of thought. It took me 3 years to actually put it all together because you have to make all of their abilities are equal and fair and they work well together. And then you have to make sure that when they're sharing, it doesn't get out of control where it's like, oh, well, this is crazy. But moving on to the next character. So Claire's ability is transference. And so like transference is kind of like the resurrection skill. She's like the necromancer, I guess you would say. Transference allows her, like if her body's damaged or hurt, or if her allies are damaged or hurt, she can take all that damage and actually transfer it to another object or transfer it away. So if she got her arm cut off, for example, she could instantly heal herself pretty much. She can also transfer her soul. She can also transfer her soul. So if she were killed or something like that, if she was empowering one of those objects, then she would actually be able to transfer her soul to that object and it would become her new permanent body. And it would just turn like the dirt and all that different stuff, all the stuff would actually become her living tissue.
Interesting.
So then she would be able to take on that new body. So she's technically immortal. She can't really be killed easily, but she can resurrect the other characters as well, or even dead people. So if she's around somebody when they get killed, she can bring them back to life by giving them that body. And then she can also, like any of the objects, so like if an object was destroyed but it had remaining essence, she can actually transfer that essence to herself and then restore her essence through that. And she can also, like any objects that she's empowering, or like if she's sharing her ability with one of the other characters, for example, then any objects that they're empowering at that time could actually take the damage instead. So if the character runs into the enemies, the enemy might attack them, but the objects that they empowered will be actually taking the damage in their place.
So you described like these really cool power sets. Were they inspired by like things that you had read before, or these like just strictly out of your imagination? Or
that's where the video game, I created it based off of some of the video game. So like restoration and a lot of it came from how I built the mechanics of the story, because obviously transference isn't really like something that's in a video game per se.
Well, until they do the Essence video game, and then it'll happen, right?
Yeah. Right. Like Ramire's ability, for example, his, like I always had to think of, okay, sharing abilities, and I was like, okay, every character can't have the non-living matter. If the non-living matter regenerated essence, then it would just get out of control. So I needed to make it so that the characters couldn't have the objects regenerate essence. Well, he breaks that barrier. It makes him unique, and it makes him stand out among all the other characters and that makes him exciting. Because he'll have his own connection, his own way. So like augmentation, there's more to it. He's like kind of like almost like a Wolverine kind of character where he regenerates his essence extraordinarily fast. And the longer he remains in his active state or uses his power, he continually grows stronger. But eventually you have to sleep or you have to do whatever. So eventually he'd have to deactivate it to go to bed or whatever. So it's not like he's going to just continuously grow infinitely.
So these characters that you're talking about, are they all going to be introduced like in volume 2, or is it still going to be one of these long things that it'll take a while?
Take 5 volumes to get all. So volume 2 will introduce Charity. Volume 3 will introduce 4 of the other characters. Volume 4 will introduce another 2, and then volume 5 will conclude pretty much the whole major arc. I call it the Vegeta arc, because it's literally where from Goku starting to the point that he fights Vegeta. But I'm not going to go through this whole phase of making it take 10 episodes to get through the dragons.
Yeah, I heard like
Bearfan caught that one.
Yeah, it's like 10 episodes of just one fight, like right, one battle.
Oh, no, how long did it take him to actually get to King Kai's?
Yeah, long time. Yeah,
it took him a long time. They didn't need to take that many episodes to actually get him to that point. They just dragged it out. And so my story is going to be really, really large. It's going to be extremely, extremely big series. So I don't think I'm going to have to worry about trying to drag the story out at all.
Yeah. Well, I think that's kind of the cool thing that you kind of like have watched all these things, talking about Dragon Ball Z, you've seen other the handful of comics that you have read and the video games that you've played, of course, you kind of had seen or you witnessed what things that you felt were like maybe drawn out or weren't exactly like you would have handled it a little differently. But rather than being critical of that, you're just saying, well, you know what, I'm just going to do my own thing. I'm going to create my own story and just avoid those story pitfalls that I didn't really, I felt it could have been handled better. I guess, was that kind of like a little bit of a inspiration? You said, well, you know what? I want to tell my story. And if I'm going to tell my story, I'm going to tell it this way because
I want it to be exciting. Yeah. I don't want it to be long drawn out. I want it to be continuously growing for a long time. So even if it took 30 or 40 volumes to get through a huge portion of the arc and stuff, you can still, like, I made it so that you can still create a bunch of material even after that major ultimate story comes to an end. But even then, look at One Piece, for example. They're at 1,000 episodes and people talk about that. And I mean, there comes a point where people, like even Marvel and DC, their stories are still doing good, but how long do people want to see Spider-Man? Do they want to see him keep going forever? Because you're seeing the same character, but anime is creating a lot of new materials that people haven't seen before, and so it's exciting because it's new.
Yeah, and that's the thing that we talked about before when we were, the pre-show, is about and we'll dig deeper into this when we talk about when we get past this last live drawing challenge, is that you've already built in. You said like the infinite story arc, or like how you can build.
Left it open-ended to the point where I can keep going if I really want to. But when I do it, I'm not going to do it where I've got to add enough content and I've got to make sure it's exciting. Writing about the same characters over and over again, and then adding a few new things in there.
Yeah, I was joking around with you about how you don't want to be the J.J. Abrams of comic books, where you come up with this really great story but not have an end game. You don't have a true direction that you want to take all the characters, and you've mapped out. I think from my impression as I've talked to you, you've really mapped out where you want these characters to go. So there is definitely a conclusion, but you've built it enough up so that you can build new stories or things about the
Things
characters
that-
more.
the arc, or continue a portion of it, or something will happen, or I'll be able to keep going for a long time. But I mean, I want this to be an inspiration. Like, I want people to look at this and be like, this guy did something unique and did something different. He didn't follow the social norm. He created this Conrad is a very controversial character, because every time I've talked to a writer, or even just some of the characters, even whenever I've talked to a writer or I've talked to certain people, their first initial impression is Conrad's too powerful. You need to start out at a smaller scale. But they don't see where I'm heading. They just see it from the standpoint of, this is what I was taught.
Yeah.
But sometimes you have to step aside and don't always listen to what you're taught. And because if people don't challenge it, then how do we grow?
Mm-hmm.
Everything that we have that's out there right now comes from people challenging the system. Technology it came from people. So the Middle Ages, people were tried as witches for creating new medicines, and people kept challenging it, and now look where we are. Without these medicines, people would die a lot earlier age. But people kept challenging it until it finally took hold.
Yeah, I think that I'm looking forward to, in terms of like just learning the evolution of these characters and how they're going to be introduced and what they bring to the table. I think Erfan, how do you feel about? I haven't looked at what you're doing. I'm sure you're like super far ahead of me. How about we say a couple more minutes, and then we'll wrap it up,
All right.
and then we'll show.
All right.
He gets to give himself more time.
Yeah. Basically, I get exactly. You know what I can't operate on the speed that Erfan is doing. You know, he's moving so fast. But what I'm going to tell our audience is that I'm going to show the character sketches or the character profiles that are on the website. We're gonna highlight that, and it features more of Erfan's artwork, as well as I think that'll give some visuals to go along with what Charles was talking about. Unless Charles, did you want to? Do you feel comfortable with sharing some screens? Were you able to like find the artwork that you specifically wanted to show, or do you want me to just show what I think that you might help support some of the things that you talked about?
In the volume.
I was going to show the artwork from I think it was one of the web pages. We talked about how.
Oh yeah, if you want to go on the website, you can show some of the artwork and stuff.
Okay.
And it shows everybody kind of where they can get the work and stuff like that.
Okay. Yeah, we're definitely.
The goal is to get people to go to the website and show off everything. We can also show them the video that's on the front page.
Okay. All right. So we'll save that. That's going to be a little bit of a teaser in terms of what you're going to be able to see after we finish this live drawing. And like I said, if anybody is in the chat, is watching and they want to draw along, you let us know. Let us know in the chat, and then post it to our art show, which is our sister page. And then we can pull that up and be able to show some fan art love for this great property, this great IP. Let's see. Okay. All right, so we're approaching on 1 more minute, and
Okay.
that'll give Charles some time to like get a drink or something like that. So he's been talking like constantly. So
I've been doing those shows and I talk all day.
Okay, all right, you're well practiced in terms of that. Okay, all right, so we're approaching the last 30 seconds. So again, if anybody's drawing along, let me know. Sarah, just to make it easy, I saw that Sarah drew along. Sarah, if you just want to drop me a put it in the direct message to me in Facebook chat, and that way I don't have to go to the art show. I can just pull it up that way. Let's see. I'm looking at some of the comments. This will be really cool for you to look at, Charles. We got Holly Haskins. Really enjoy learning more about this. Thank you.
That's my
So
sister.
yeah. Oh, okay. All right. Well, she got to learn about it just like I did. So, all right. So let's say pencils down. Oh my gosh! I just looked up, and I got to see what Erfan was doing. This is nightmare fuel. I'm not going to be able to sleep tonight. Look at that. Erfan, you want to
Yeah.
zoom in a little bit? Let's see.
You
Okay.
gotta put the bloody sperm by his hand.
No, I think this one is free of bloody sperm.
Well, there was the bloody sperm, but it got eaten.
Yeah.
It was gone. It's no longer in existence. Yeah, the harvester totally took it. Man, Erfan. I mean, I'm looking at this. When I looked at it zoomed out, it had its own look to it when it was zoomed out. But when you zoom in, I get to see all these textures and all these hash marks, and even just like the areas that you blocked off with just black. But you see like his arm that's in the distance. I just like how you put all these really cool textures in there, and you did this so quick.
Yeah.
Like this is 15 to 20 minutes, and wow, I'm gonna be studying this. This is just really neat to see you do this, and it's horrific. It's horrific. It's just I'm drawn to looking at it, but it's definitely scary. So if this is what a harvester could look like, in future issues.
Sandwich in his hand.
What was that in his hand?
He could draw a sandwich in his hand, and it makes him look like.
Yes, it's like, hey, yeah, maybe this could be like an endorsement
A Subway
for
commercial.
Yes, the Subway commercial. So Subway is going to be calling you up, Charles, to say they want the harvester to be their mascot. But yes, that's so cool. Okay, here, and then we got Roy, who's in here, who said, "That's a lot of hatch for a short time." That's so true. You found. I had to look and see. You're gonna have to look at whatever cool brushes that Erfan is using, because very, very cool. Oh, here. So Sarah said, "I vote for a donut." So maybe we can get Krispy Kreme instead of Subway. Maybe they can do some some endorsements.
Donuts. They're a lot bigger.
Yeah, and then here we got Saeed, who's saying, "I am hungry for fries." Okay, now for fries, yeah. So, and then we got Nick Medina here, who's saying, "Stunning." I totally concur. It's just really, really great. So, those of you who hopefully drew along, let me know in the chat that you did and post it to the art show. Be more than happy to show that. I guess let me remove this from this. Let's minimize this real quick. Hold on one second. Minimize that, and I even took I had to unshare something, so let me stop that and share my little harvester compared to that nightmare that Erfan did. Let me show you what I did. So here it is, and let me add that to the stream. All right, so here's my version of the harvester.
Right.
Not nearly as intimidating or as vicious, but yeah, I think these harvesters are really, really cool. And that being said, why are they called harvesters, Charles? Is there a reason for?
Because when I created them, it's because they harvest the essence. So they're going through the universe, and they're absorbing the essence of everything. So they're harvesting. They kill their victims, and then they absorb the essence.
Okay, that makes complete sense. And this is a question that Roy pondered. Of course, this is not referring to my illustration. This is referring to, wrong one, which it is a perfect mascot for Mountain Dew. That's kind of funny. But Roy says here, Erfan, you want to answer this one? What brush do you use? Questions Erfan receives.
The brush, I forgot the names, but this is downloaded from the Adobe. This is pretty much standard Adobe. I think Adobe has Kyle T. Webster brushes. Yeah,
Right.
if you use Photoshop CC, you can download it directly from Adobe.
Okay. So these weren't
Yeah.
custom brushes that you did. You just
No,
downloaded.
they provide many brushes for Photoshop, and this is one of them. So yeah. Everything is pretty is provided by Adobe, including this one, this.
Oh,
You
that
can
is
see
so
this?
neat.
Yeah.
Yes, I can. So
Yeah,
it's so funny because Roy was pretty much doing a little poke in terms of digital artists. Whenever they do something digitally, it's like the first question. Well, actually, they'll get one response, which is one. It's like, "Oh, this art is so awesome," and then the second question is like, "What brush do you use?" And then it's like that joke. It's like, "Yeah, if I get this if I get one of Erfan's brushes, I'm going to be able to draw just like Erfan. And it's never that case. But definitely check out those. Adobe should be calling you up to be a brush evangelist, so that way you can talk about the wonder, how you use these brushes. And let's see. So here we got Roy saying, oops, he says dang, but he also says this. He says, oh, he meant to say Erfan uses default brushes. So yeah, you're so good. You just use whatever brushes are out there. You don't even have to make your own. You can do something really cool with whatever default brushes.
Finger of God. He just touches the screen and it.
Well, it's what he does is he gets an illustration from you, and it could be that bloody sperm. He touches the screen, and it goes bam. It becomes that masterpiece that he's been showing with all
he
the
turns
lines.
a weed into a flower.
Yes, that's the way it is. So very, very, very cool. Let me minimize this. So I want everybody to take this in one more time. It's going to cause you to have nightmares, but you can still be in awe of the artistic prowess of Erfan. Just really, really cool. He did this with the default Photoshop brushes that you can just download from Adobe.
Can you see the windows I
Yes.
pop up in the bottom? Yeah, this one. You can search the Photoshop brushes for Kyle Inkbox. This is the beta tester. Yeah.
Okay, Kyle Inkbox. Okay, great.
Yes.
Very, very cool. So I know that Charles is going to go download these brushes so that we can do even better art direction pictures for Erfan. So that'll be really cool. All right, so let me unshare this and remove this. All right, so let me check out the comment fields. Oh, there was one guy. What Noodle? Thank you so much. I like it, Jared. Looks like a version from Goosebumps. Thank you so much. We got Tater Knowles. Y'all's Harvester look amazing. I will agree. I think Erfan really nailed it. And I'm looking forward to seeing what these Harvesters do and what other villains are going to do in the Essence universe. So that'd be really, really, really neat. So glad we got to do the live drawings. Again, if you did live draw, let me know. Put it in the comments field. I'll feature it a little later on. Let's see. Oh, wait, we got one. Sarah sent something, so let me download this. And it looks really, really vicious. Let me get it. Here we go. Got it. And let me stop screen.
That's another thing that's going to be fun about this this series. It's not like you have a few characters that you can draw. You've got a wide range of options that people get to do. So they're going to be, I can imagine what kind of fan art will come out from all of it.
Yeah, it's going to be incredible. Especially, I'm going to show you the individual 12 warriors that are in the Essence universe. But I wanted to show this. Fan art! Yay! So we got this.
Awesome.
Very nice.
Very nice.
Yeah, this is from Sarah, and Sarah is one of our she always shows up on our cast, and we really love her artwork. So when she was able to contribute to this, we always are in for a treat. So yes, very, very it's very evil and but it's very good at the same time. So let me stop that real quick. All right. Okay. So Charles, let's dig a little bit deeper into Essence. You did talk about how you came up with these characters and how they all have these unique power sets, and how they're using Essence, which is like this force element in this universe. You have dark matter. You talked about all these science things that you've weaved into it. I'm going to bring up some characters that were from the website, so people can go check that out if they go check out these links. But I'm going to bring those up so that I don't think you talked about all 12 of them, but this will give you an opportunity to have some visuals to go along with some of the characters. And these are all artwork that Erfan did, so it'll be a treat to see his interpretations of these characters. And between the two of you, I would like for you guys to not only go tell a little bit about more of these characters that have yet to be introduced, but maybe talk about how you guys went back and forth with each other in terms of like their look that I'm going to show. So Charles, you start out first, and Erfan, when you want to, just interject anything that you want to say to support. Okay? All right.
For the character designs, the original ones came when they were teenagers. So it was actually Chris. Chris had designed them, and he created all the clothing. I just told him what race I wanted them, because when you look at it, it's diversity. It's literally, you're using colors, you're using diverse groups of backgrounds and stuff. So we had already had the designs when Erfan was introduced to the story.
All right, so let's start
Yeah.
with Conrad, and then we're just going to go down the list, and the two of you can just sort of elaborate, on terms of like, obviously there's some of them are demonstrating powers too. So you guys just take it from there.
All right, so Conrad's ability. So you can see that Conrad's ability is called perception. Like I explained, he can perceive pretty much anything. So perceiving size allows him to break his body into particles, so you can actually see the little particles at like his feet kind of working their way up. And then he can perceive, because he can perceive at the atomic level, he can actually rearrange the atoms in his body to become any element that he wants, including ones that nobody knows exist because he perceives them. So you can see that he's basically Avatar on steroids, because he's doing things that nobody else that I know of can really do. There might be characters out there that can probably do the same, but I wanted it to be exciting and extreme. And then he can also perceive their abilities. So he can perceive what their powers do, their strengths, their weaknesses. So like what Gerald had mentioned is he's the Professor X of the group. He's teaching the kids how to use their powers. He's helping them learn how to fight the harvesters and share their abilities and do all that stuff. So he's helping them get through challenges. And then he also perceives distance, so he can see everything that's going on around him with little effort. So there's not like a lot that can really surprise him. But he's that character. He's the leader of the group. He's the one helping them. So his growth also doesn't come in a normal standpoint, like I mentioned. It comes from what his actions are, what kind of character he is, what he does for others. And he's like meant to be this really good character that is trying to help everybody around him.
Very cool. Let's I want to go in order of how they were introduced to me, which is after reading the trade paperback. So let's look at Malik or Malik. How do you pronounce his name?
I call it Malik, or call him Malik.
All right, so let's learn a little bit more now. You obviously don't give away anything from the trade paperback, but let's talk about his power set and how, when he's combined with Conrad, like what that does, so we can kind of get an idea.
Malik is kind of the powerhouse character. So when I created the mechanics, I made sure that like the objects, they could only empower a certain number of objects, and the object can only hold a certain number or a certain amount of essence. So he can outdo that. So he can, his ability is called Overload. And what it does is he's just contains significantly larger amounts of essence than any of the other characters. Technically, in the standpoint of an individual, he's the strongest character individually than all the other characters. But his personality type, he's a little bit slower, so to speak. He's just a little bit slower when it comes to learning and doing things. So he's kind of the big brute, but he's the lovable like character that everybody loves. He doesn't understand his full strength or what he's capable of doing. So it's going to be it's going to be a unique growth for him, and people will get to see him grow in a fun, unique way. And Sahid, for Sahid, you can read the full volume on the front page or front page of the website. So you'll only get about 50 pages right now on Webtoons. But going back to Malik, his ability allows him to also empower more essence, put more essence into each object, so it can hold significantly larger amounts. So think of like a balloon. You've got a tiny balloon that holds a small amount, and then you've got a big balloon that can hold significantly larger. He's the bigger balloon, while everyone else is the smaller balloon. Like objects. So his objects can actually, he empowers, he could have a smaller object, but it's still just as strong as an object that other characters control. And then he can also overload another object that's empowered by one of the other characters. So normally, like if someone is trying to empower an object, the object will get destroyed, because you can't just take two empowered objects and combine them. So his essence will overload it and take control of that object without destroying the essence inside of it.
So that's, I guess, I mean, I'm like, we're getting like full bios here, and I think it's really, really cool that you've developed it. I don't even know how you keep this straight in your head, because it's one thing to get their power sets, but then of course
Now you know why.
Yeah.
Now you know why it's been so hard to get the story straight, because there's so much to it. It's not just like your everyday story. There's a lot of things going into it. So you have to make sure. That's why the volume 1 focuses on teaching people about the world and about how the ability sharing. So you don't necessarily get like a full background. You get enough information of their backgrounds, but it's about teaching you so that moving forward, then they can all grow.
And look at this. You got a fan from Brazil that's chimed in. Ricardo, thanks for joining us.
What's up, Ricardo?
So here we go. We got
Ricardo.
here we have the last 2 characters that were introduced in the first trade paperback, and we have V and we have Max. So let's start out with V. And I know we still have a few more to go, so let's just give like an overall like power set. You don't have to, obviously we don't want to go too much details. We want people to read about them when they get introduced, but let's just give like you did this beautiful thing. I'm encouraging everybody to go buy the trade. If you ever were confused, and you aren't, because it's like with any character, when you're dropped into a universe, you're learning about the character, you're learning about their powers, their weaknesses, where they've come from. So it's not like you instantly get to know who they are right away. But what I really appreciated about what Charles did at the end of the trade paperback is he does what he's doing right now. He gives a little bit of summation in terms of what their characters are, who the characters are, what their power set is, and what happens when you combine them together. And of course, you get to see the wonderful Erfan artwork to go along with it. So another plug for the book. Get the book, and you're going to get the same thing that we're showing right here. So, Mike, is it back in your hand, Charles and Erfan?
Yep.
Feel free to talk about it as well. So let's talk about V.
He's Erfan's a little harder. Like he doesn't know as much.
Okay.
Yeah.
It'll be a little bit harder because
he can say what Charles said. What Charles said.
he follows my lead.
Okay. All right. Okay. Here's V. Let's talk about V.
So V is one of the twins. So if you panel back between the 2 twins, Max and V are both twins, and so their abilities kind of intertwine with each other. This is where like the ability sharing is unique as well. This is where they stand out, where amongst other characters. So like Malik had his overpowered, like he's just really strong, powerful character individually. The twins, so Lincoln Transplant, and then also Bond and Obscure. So a short little synopsis. I won't go into too much detail, like he said, other than these guys are twins. But like when an ability is shared with one of them, the other one also gains that ability no matter where they are and without the character having to share. So they each gain the abilities that are being shared with them, which allows them to exceed the normal limit of abilities that can be shared with between other characters. So normally, like a character can only contain 2 abilities. They can contain 4 because they are able to share between each other.
Yeah, and I couldn't help. I don't know if it was you that picked the color palette, or if it was your colorist, or if maybe it was Erfan.
Erfan did this.
Oh, he did. Okay, so
I think Erfan you even colored these too, right, Erfan?
Yeah.
Oh, you did.
So
Okay.
I did the color.
Yeah, he did.
Very, very cool. And me being a big fan of the Super Friends cartoon in the 80s, I couldn't help but say, "Oh, these are twins, and they're wearing purple." It reminded me of the Wonder Twins from Justice. Yeah, we have the possum and we have the bloody sperm. So maybe those are going to be. That's going to be Gleek. Gleek is going to be that blue monkey. But I tell you, I couldn't help but when I look at it, it had such nostalgic feels. When I looked at it, because they're wearing purple. I don't know if that was intentional.
It wasn't my full intent when I did it. It wasn't. So if you're familiar with Naruto, you had the eyes, the 2 kids. So like Hinata. So Hinata and her cousin, they were also purple. So purple and violet tend to fit in as that kind of color that fits in. So when you look at like the way I did stuff, I used color as a lot of reasoning. So like the teal for Conrad, teal is a leadership skill. It's a colorful.
Okay.
Vermilion is a very strong color. It's very powerful. Then like purple and Neji. Yes, Neji. Thank you. I don't know all the characters' name, but yeah, Neji.
Always can rely on our audience
But
to help out.
Neji and Hinata. So when you look at them, they're both they both fit into that category of being purple. They're family. They're related. They're kind of the same. A lot of characters like so.
Here, let's go jump into this one. Emery, green.
Emery is chartreuse.
So
it's like a lime. Like a lime green or yellow. So you normally see that bright, vibrant color as hyper and energetic, very ADHD, and that's why Emery's upside down, being goofy. That one was like Erfan showed 2 different versions, but this one I love this version. It was really good. He came up with that one, and it's perfect. I really like it. It's one of my favorite ones.
You mentioned vermilion, so here we got this really strong red. I'm assuming vermilion is red, right? Is that correct?
Vermilion is a shade. Yeah, it's in that shade of red. It's just the mixture. And so you've got Stella, who is the red character. So you attribute red. Most people attribute red to very bipolar, like kind of like a bipolar personality. So she's got that very aggressive. Red's very aggressive. So again, red cars get pulled over more often than other cars.
Maybe I used to like blue when I was younger, but I've been leaning towards red colors, and so Stella is like I don't know. Maybe that's I'm drawn to this character, and I'm like, maybe am I bipolar? I don't know, but I just really like the vibrancy of red. And obviously it has
red is more so like even when you go to like because when I've watched movies, I've seen them, and red stands out. It like when you go to a ball, if you're wearing red, or like red lipstick, everything red. I mean, look at Jessica Rabbit.
That's so true. And then let's keep on going down here, because I don't want to give away everything about him, but I want people to see who these characters are. So here we have Ariok. So, and his power is unlimited. Which, wow. Okay, so go ahead and do I talk a little bit about this?
So the unlimited ability, I kind of went with like I wanted a character that's going to be like the weakest character, but at the same time the strongest character. And I kind of got like most heroes. So like when you look at heroes, you look at X-Men, you look at most hero stories, they end up having a character that can pull off from the powers of all the other characters, or they're unique. And I wanted this character that could break that limit of how many abilities they can share. So technically Ariok is the weakest because he can only have one ability shared with them at a time, but he can gain more abilities depending on how weak each person is. So he can have up to 4 abilities before the characters have to start basically passing out. So the only way to gain more than 4 is like they have to get weaker each time, and then to get like the 5th one, 5 characters would have to be out of action. So they'd have to be passed out.
That is an interesting story dynamic, because I guess when he gets introduced, if the team gets kind of like beat down, you have a member that can kind of like come. Yes, Ex Machina. He can come in to save the day. When you get written into like when you paint yourself into a corner, you have Ariok who can come in there and rescue the team. Kind of like take all of their weak powers, put it together. He's like Rogue from the X-Men. He can take their powers.
There's some of that element, but I wanted him to be different from Rogue. I had to make sure I was very careful about how his ability worked, because I didn't want it to be like he could just have unlimited everything. But like in the state where everybody, like all the 11 characters are knocked out, he gets, I won't go into like too much detail, but he just gets super crazy.
Okay. Gotta look forward to that.
But like all the orbs, instead of being like a color, they'll all turn white, because when you look at it, Vitus is the main character, and she's a white being. So she's the accumulation of all colors. So he's got all 12 colors, so all the orbs will turn white.
Interesting. All right, so let's keep on moving along. We got Sage here, and her power is stockpile or
Yeah.
her ability. Okay.
So I wanted to go with something. So her ability was a little trickier. It took a while to figure her out. But hers is basically whenever an ability shared with her, she can like stockpile it inside, and like it kind of just holds it. And then as she uses her power, it's kind of like a little bar gauge. You'll have like however many abilities were shared with her, and then like the little bars will keep going up. And then she can activate her power and release all of it, and then it restores essence based on how much of the stockpiled essence happened. So it's like an extra little regenerative boost. But if she's sharing her power, like her power specifically, or like the other people are sharing their powers together, then it spreads out. So like let's say Stella, the red character, had been sharing her 2 abilities. Well, anybody that has the red essence will gain that boost as well for whatever red accumulated.
Man, I'm just thinking about what these next volumes of the book are going to be like. It's like you're going to be able to like.
She can also use, so if she has like built up essence inside, she can also use their essence to share their abilities. So she's like a secondary user. So it won't actually be like them using. She can substitute it.
Ah, so it's like she can be like in sync with them and then stockpile their energy and then be able to.
So we're like the red character can only share 2 abilities. 4 people could technically have the red ability because she could substitute herself. So instead of sharing her ability, she could share the red ability that's stockpiled in her.
All right, I don't know how I'm going to keep this all straight in my head, but it's just amazing that you're thinking this far ahead. All right, let's keep on going. We got Ramir.
Yes,
this is
Ramir.
augmentation. Yep, go ahead.
So augmentation, so he's the blue character, and augmentation basically allows him to, he's like the Wolverine, he regenerates extraordinarily fast, his wounds will heal faster, and then the objects, so you see the little golem and the sword, the objects actually are able to regenerate essence, so the objects can even create objects of their own and empower objects without having a major impact.
Oh.
And the longer the powers are activated, the stronger they get.
Yeah, that's so neat. So cool. And we still got 1, 2, 3. We got 4 more characters to go. We have Sonnet here. Alteration
is the alteration. So like I had mentioned, for her, she's the one that can alter her stats. She's kind of like a Superman in a way, but she alters the stats to be whatever she wants. So let's say she's in a situation where she needs extreme speed. She can sacrifice her strength for speed, or she can sacrifice her regeneration. So let's say she's not injured or anything. She can sacrifice the regeneration to gain speed as well. So she just tripled her speed. If she's had ability shared with her, she can do the same thing. But her true power comes in the objects that are around her. If she's empowering them, she can make them stronger. She can give them different properties. Or let's say Ramir's got the ability, she can have those objects actually regenerate essence at a super rapid pace. She could just give them like 1,000% regeneration. And then if she's like got Claire's ability involved with the transference will allow the objects to allow her to absorb the essence.
Man, again, I'm trying to like make mental notes in terms of all these characters, but we get here.
It's going to be one of those situations of it's not like what 3 characters are going to be best in DC. It's what 3 combinations are the best.
Yeah,
I do have 24 characters, so it's.
So let's talk about Charity, which is regrowth.
Yep.
Obviously green. So go ahead and lead with that.
She's the plant-based character. So any ability that's shared with her or connected to her ability, the plants and animals around her will also gain all of those abilities as well. So if she's sharing with Conrad, for example, her essence is now connected to his essence by sharing. So all the plants and animals will gain Conrad's ability of perception. But if he's got an ability that's being shared with him, that ability would also transfer over to the plants and animals because it's connected to his essence, which is connected to hers.
mind-numbing. I'm trying to like give all this thing, but I wanted to save the character that you talked about earlier. I wanted to save her for last, and that is Claire. And you mentioned, kind of like talked a little bit about her. So I'll let you. We'll end with this one, and then we'll go into the last part of the show. But who is Claire, and what is her powers of transference?
Claire's ability is called transference. She is the amber colored character, and she's got that little sassy attitude. But I wanted it to be a fun sassy, like motherly, like she wants to she wants to help everybody around her. And the transference ability allows her to transfer essence from the objects that she can pull from, and it transfers to her, so she can actually use that to restore her own essence. She can also transfer any damage that she or her allies have taken. So if she got her arm cut off, for example, she could literally reattach her arm instantly and transfer the damage away from her and send it to like one of the monsters or something. She can also transfer, what was it? She can transfer her soul from her, like if her main body were killed or something, she can transfer her soul to another non-living object that she's empowering, and that object will become her new body. It will transform and turn into a physical living thing, because her soul is attaching to and bonding to the material.
Man, these are 12 characters. Only I'm like exhausted. I'm exhausted listening to it, but it's exhausted in a great way, because really
Makes you think.
Yes, it does, because, and I think that's what's so cool about your IP. Your with all these original characters, and major props to Erfan in terms of doing these interpretations, because it's you mentioned you're a fan of like Magic the Gathering, those card games. I can see these. I want a Essence card game with all these abilities.
And too.
Yeah.
All it comes down to is getting the word out. Once we actually build it up and get it there, it's not really gonna like if I get to full time where I'm working on it, it's not gonna take me very long to actually get it all put together.
You are totally onto something. It's so great to see it, and Erfan's artwork really makes me think, it's there. You have the artwork ready to go. You flip it over and it has all those things that you talked about, all the stats, all the little bars, power bars in terms of what they do, and then you just layer your essence hero stack to like take down villains. Just so great. I mean, it has such great, you're like using the George Lucas mentality. It's sort of like I'm writing a story, but there can be cards that can be out. There can be toys. We talked a little bit about that. There could be the animation.
Like, even like the little guardians or the characters themselves, you could have clocks that are designed around it.
Yes. It's there's so much.
Calendar could easily be designed around it, because 12 months, 12 characters.
Didn't even think about that. And did you pick 12 because of that, or was that just something that was...
So when I first originally did the heroes sharing abilities, I went with I was thinking about it. I was like 3. I knew I wanted to do colors, because colors is the easiest way, and it's got the most broad. Doing numbers would make sense, and I wanted it to be spiritual, so you got the chakra system. But primary colors, it's just red, blue, and green. 3 characters sharing abilities is not going to be exciting. If you go to secondary, it doesn't make sense, because that's half the wheel. Why are you using half a wheel? And so I had to go with 12. I literally had to create all of these 12 characters based off of the 12 colors.
I gotcha.
See, challenge.
That is the depth of Charles' mentality when it comes to like, you know what? I'm not going to do half a wheel. I got to do the whole wheel. I got to do the whole color wheel.
Vitus. So people haven't actually gotten to see Vitus. Vitus is the main character.
Yeah. Oh yes, this is the and those in the background are those characters that don't need a body. They're souls.
They're souls.
Yeah. I'm interested to see what you're going to do with that. In fact, Charles, I went to essence.com, essencecomics.com, and you mentioned there's a video. This is the video you're talking about, right? So
that was quick one, and then the animation will hopefully be here in a couple of, or like 3 months is what I'm hoping.
Okay.
And then we'll do the starter around March or April.
Ooh,
which
I know who
I'll be back on the show.
Yes.
Before that happens, and we can start talking about that and stuff, and get people excited and do a few sneak peeks and stuff.
Well, you know what? I'm excited about it. I mean, if you didn't give a good idea about the characters that are coming soon, I don't know what else you can do. I mean, I learned more just listening to it, and that'll give us time to actually get familiar with their abilities and how they can interact with each other. But I'm going to play this video real quick, and we can get an idea of some animated stuff. So here we go. Let me push play. Okay, so if that didn't give you guys goosebumps every time I heard that bell chime in the background and those violins and the strings, I don't know if that was like stock music, but it felt like to me like that was a soundtrack that was built for this trailer. I'm waiting for this to show up on Nicktoons, Nick Jr., Anime Network. I don't know. I could see this easily becoming a great success. Just amazing stuff. I know you mentioned that you're kind of like talking to some of those animation studios, Charles, about doing this.
Right now, I'm working with Jonathan Hallett. He is actually a Disney storyboard writer, but he might as well be an animator because he's helping get the animation process going. All it's going to really come down to is raising the funds. Technically, he could probably pitch it to Netflix or Disney or Cartoon Network, but I really don't want to do that. Just because I want them to come to me and I want a bargain. I want to be able to bargain. I don't want to lose my rights to my project because I know what it's worth. It's going to be worth a lot of money, and I don't want it to become all about that. I still want it to be a good project. Plus, they're not going to build it the same way I've built it, and they don't know what's happening, so they're going to go a different direction with it. Because I mean, look at Conrad. It's everybody has that same reaction to Conrad, but that's what I wanted. I want people to have that reaction, because then when people start realizing that it's completely different, and they're like, "Holy crap, this is way different than I would have ever." It kind of blows people's mind. It's like when Avatar the first came out.
Yes, that's a great example because what I like what your mindset, because to me that means that you're not, as a creator, as an indie creator, for the same reasons why it's great that you don't have to rely on a larger studio or a larger publisher to get your book out there, because you don't have to give up any of your creative freedom, any of your intellectual properties, like what you feel makes it stronger. Obviously, you can take inspiration or be able to get maybe people to give you some creative feedback, but you're not going to be at the mercy of a board of a board of a studio, a board of a publisher. You just saying, you know what, this focus group says that we shouldn't do this with Conrad, or we should change the ethnicity of charity.
You know what happens in the book, so you already know kind of what's happening at the end, and you realize that it's not.
Yeah,
you already know, but every studio, every person has had the same reaction of Conrad's too strong, and then as they read the book later, like they get through the book further, they're like, oh, okay.
Yes, and that's the thing is that nothing is what it seems like on the surface. There's more to it. There's layers. There's layer upon layer, and there's nothing, or there's so much to be revealed. It's like everything is not obvious. I like the way that you're building it. You have this master plan. It's not like shooting from the hip per se in terms of like I don't know. It's like you know what the bigger picture is. You're not just like saying, oh, okay, well, I gotta like figure out this, so I better like come up with a solution. You know, you have a bigger picture in mind. I think that was the sorry, Erfan, I'm going to bring back another Star Wars reference. That's why the prequel trilogy to me was such a disappointment, because there wasn't a larger narrative, a larger story. That I don't mind that they were envisioning having a different director for each of the 3 movies, but there was no common narrative thread that needed to be woven into each movie. And I think, Charles, you have that master thread. You know, you won't let your IP, your OCs get compromised. You have your eye on that big picture, that end goal of getting it. If it is going to be Netflix, or if it's going to be Cartoon Network or Nick Jr. or any of those things. But you know that you're not going to let an executive tell you that you can't tell the story that you want to tell. You know, we don't need to change it because Charles knows better than anybody in terms of the story that he wants to tell. And it still amazes me that you don't read comic books too much. But you have such a clear idea of what you want to tell in your comic.
Yeah, and when it comes to, so the thing about comics, because they're the visual medium, it's almost, you have to be clever about it. So like you can read a few comics and kind of get an idea of how they work. A lot of it's just making sure you tell the story, and like if you can imagine the motion and you can like envision it in your head, you just pick the points that are most important, that will actually have an impact, that are exciting. So you already saw 35 pages of volume 2. So you already.
Oh my God.
And I'm pretty sure it's going to be a lot better, because the story is moving extraordinarily well, and it looks like you don't even have to get the letters in there, and it's such a good storyteller through his art.
That's what I was going to tell you. I mean, you guys are. I'm going to use your terminology. The two of you guys have the you have essence. You're able to like use each other's essence, I guess, and be able to like take the strengths from you guys. I mean, you guys can share it. Yeah. I want to. No, I think it's a. I'm just listening to like your story, and I'm hearing about these characters, and Conrad would not be. He could have the power of perception, but he would not be that deeper character if he didn't meet those other 11. And I think that Charles, we talked about how you like to surround yourself with talented people, and that's what Essence is. You're being able to take those talents, those skills, the story, put it all together, surround yourself with really talented people to tell that story. And I'm seeing it. I had to like send a non-disclosure agreement to Charles to let him know that I will keep my lips sealed in terms of what I saw. But I can tell you, I felt like I was one of those insider guys that's in Hollywood that's getting to see the behind the scenes of the next big thing. And that's what it is. I think Essence is going to be that next big thing. I'm excited to see what you guys are both going to do. And I think this is a nice transition to the last part of the show that we're going to go into, which is basically called the Oscar speech. And it's
adventures real quick.
What was that?
Did you want to do Crump Adventures real quick? Just
let's before we get into that, let's talk a little bit about Crunk.
Sorry.
I know this is I know that we talked about we want to talk about Essence mainly, but Charles sent me this as well, and it falls into the whole mindset that Charles has in terms of like telling a story and telling it from a different perspective, being able to put his own signature style on storytelling. So let's talk a little bit about Crunk. We're going to go a little bit backwards. Let's go ahead and give a little bit of an elevator pitch about what Crunk is, because I want people to get Essence, but get Crunk too, because the art, it's a totally different animal, but the art is really phenomenal. The story
it shows a different side of storytelling. So
yes.
like how you mentioned Erfan is able to diversify. I also wanted to kind of show people that I could diversify in storytelling as well.
Yes. Uh-huh.
So you got Crunk's Elf Adventures, and I wanted people to kind of like judge it by the cover. I wanted to and when you actually read the book and you look at it, it's nothing like what the cover portrays.
It isn't. Yeah.
So
because
what happens is the four of these guys, so the elf, the genie, the witch lady. Let me see.
Yep.
There we go. The elf lady, or the witch, and so those four get cursed by the grandpa, or by the elf's grandpa, and the curse allows them to actually travel back in time and relive history as it really happened. But I wanted it to be like Charlie's twist on history because I'm rewriting the story. So, and the narrative, because that's what humans do, is we like to change history to fit our agenda. And so nothing is as it appears. So I even used like a blank picture on a wall in the story where Crunk is standing there in like with a big picture. Actually, I can show you. And the grandpa's like, "Isn't it wonderful?" And he's like, "No, it doesn't make sense."
Yes, I remember that panel. That panel.
So you got like there. And so, and the grandpa's basically like, you got to look at the whole picture to actually understand what's actually happening. And that's what I'm trying to do is I'm actually Essence, and all the stories that I'm doing are just kind of a means to actually get popular and actually have a voice to kind of help people get a deeper thinking and a different thought process. Because that's what we need. We need a different thought process because people are thinking too much inside the box. And they're not paying attention to everything outside the box and what's going on around them.
And you know, to follow up on this, I'm going to use your words because I read, after I finished the book, you have this last page, which basically talks about why did I create this? And this particular passage meant a lot to me because it's relevant to pretty much what's going on. I don't know how it is, Erfan, in Indonesia, but pretty much in America, there's loads of just media that can really sway people. And some people call it misinformation, you know, and I think that it was really neat to read what your comments on this. And I know that you wrote this, you know, months ago before it got published, but let me quote you in here. You said, in my own words, "It's easy to spread misinformation, whether intentional or not. Unless you're personally experienced something for yourself, there's no real way to know if the information you're being given is fact, fiction, or a mixture of the two." And you go in there. However, this doesn't mean you can't learn from the knowledge you receive from others. It's what you do with it that makes the difference. Instead, take the time to understand what caused the spread of this information, why it happened, and how it will play a role in your daily life. Understanding is one of the greatest tools given to the human race. When used properly, it can create peace. If used poorly, it can bring destruction. Use this knowledge you gain wisely. Don't let it destroy what you can become, but instead, use it to help create a better future. Wow. I tell you, Charles, I read that, and you know what? People talk about about comics being for kids. And you know, Crunk's Elf Adventures. Who would have thought that tidbit of wisdom would be in that comic book? And be so and be so relevant to today, and how people really should just listen to that and read it. And you know, I have to say, the short time that I've known you, the short time that I've known Erfan, I'm a fan. I'm a huge fan, and I hope that our guests. Yep, here we got Noodle with lots of colored hearts here. I agree. You know, and like Roy, slow clap. It is so true. I'm a fan. I'm a fan of you guys. I'm a fan of where this is going to go. I feel I do this with all of our guests. You know, it's like I get to see the genesis of a bigger story that my guests are on. And Charles and Erfan, I really think that you guys are on your way. You have a great product, and I just like the story. I like the diversity that you bring there. It's not heavy-handed in terms of like being able to say, you know, these characters are from different walks of life, but it doesn't have to be like, you know, whoa, look at me. I look this way. Therefore you should treat me a certain way. It's more about I'm this character and I happen to look like this on the outside. You know, it doesn't explain, it doesn't define what's on the inside, you know, but it shows that these type of characters, they need to be represented in our life so that people can identify with them and say, hey, that character kind of looks like me, and therefore there's a story that can maybe compel them or draw them in. And when they look at the book, when they read the book, it's not so important that they look like that on the outside, but the story that they bring to the table. And that's what I got out of it. Essence is that way. Crunks is like that on another level. I'm teased by both of them, just wondering what the next book is going to be like. What's the next chapter? You know, what Charles has planned with his art team that's doing Crunks. I see a lot of humor that can be pulled into it. And then Erfan, you know, seeing what you're going to do with Charles on Essence, and I'm going to look for the cameo of the bloody sperm to see if that shows up. That could happen. That could not happen.
It's floating around in the background. It's going to be laying on the ground.
It's going to be like Where's Waldo. I'm going to be reading the comic book, and I'm going to look and see beside, you know, like there's going to be a cosmic battle, an epic battle.
That would be the worst thing possible, because then they're going to get to the end of the book, and they're going to be like, I found it. And I'm like, the story, they'll be like, I didn't read it.
Oh, well, I'm going to tell everybody, read the book from page 1 to page 100.
It's going to be in Brad's pocket.
Yeah. Bring it, read it all the way to the end, absorb it, appreciate it, and then read it. After you read it 5 more times, on the 6th go, then look for the bloody sperm. It's somewhere in there. I'm going to leave it like that. Let's, you know, I was going to talk about the Oscar speech. So here we go. We're going to wind down the show. We got a big overview of what Essence, what Crunk's Adventures is about, who Erfan is, who Charles is. This is your opportunity. I'm going to give the mic to you guys, and just tell us your final thoughts. You know, you can tell us about your thank yous, people that influenced you. It's up to you. The mic is now yours. So let's start with Charles. I'll leave it up to you. So here we go. Give us your best Oscar speech.
I'd like to say thanks to everybody that has supported me, because without all the support from my coworkers, from my friends, family, I wouldn't have made it this far. I'm glad I had the opportunity to learn a lot of the things and meet the people that I have. It's definitely not the experience I had ever thought I'd be going through, but I'm actually glad I got to go through it, because it's making my life a lot better, because I actually get to see people smile. I get to be part of that thing that inspires change, and hopefully that change will be helpful for what comes in the future, for future generations of kids. They'll look up to what I've done and how hard I've worked, and it will help them actually push forward and try harder.
Oh, great speech. All right, Erfan, I don't know how you can top that. You probably can just say
I don't know.
Well,
I only have a short one. I know.
Okay, go for it.
I think I just want to say thank you to my family and friends and readers who always supported me so far. Who am I now is thanks to you all. Also, especially to my comic artist friend, either a writer, penciler, anything connected to comic, who are still living their passion or still pursuing their dream, their passion. I hope you have a bright future ahead. Yeah, keep fighting and drawing. Comic is a wonderful thing. I think that's it. Jero.
All right. That was good. That was great. I think Erfan, your artwork, it speaks volumes. I think that you could be completely silent and we just show your work and it'd be like, okay, he could do mic drop. He could say bloody sperm, mic drop, and that would be it. I think that's great. And it was such a pleasure to have both of you. I want everybody to know that actually Rick is still in the background. He's actually managing these chats, popping them up in the comments that are coming up, and he's doing the mic thing. So he's feeling a little bit better, but not so much that he wants to come back on right now. So I really encourage everybody to like send a shout out to him, wish him well. But before we get to the part where we talk a little bit about
a bloody pillow made for him.
yeah, you can send that to him. We'll let Rick know that it's coming on the slow boat from Indonesia. You'll see it in Denmark pretty soon. But before we get to the part where where we say goodbye, I'm going to show. Let's talk about our charity partner, and I'm a little bit at a loss here because I don't have my partner in crime Rick here to help me out here.
Whoa.
So let me show this real quick, and then we'll head on out here. So let me go back to here, and oh yeah, Rick. Oh, I totally forgot. Rick, thank you so much. These were other fan arts that were done during the show that we didn't get a chance to share. So I believe this is who is this from? Sarah. It's from Sarah, and it's kind of like, is it Super Mario tied with Rick is like trying to it's like charades.
Is it a sorcerer?
Yeah.
Wizard?
The wizard? I don't know. Rick, you want to help me out?
It looks like it might have been from the
fusion
wheel.
challenge.
So I think
It is the wizard.
The wizard. Oh, okay.
Mario. And
yeah, great. And look at this.
Now you forced
It's
me in
awesome.
Anyways, Vic.
I'm
This
so
is
sorry,
Vic Medina.
Vic, you killed it. Look at that. Now this is a harvest. Is this a harvester or is this
This is one of the baddies.
that's
Oh.
pretty cool.
it's like a
And
dragon
he's
harvester.
He's sketched along with the amazing artists on Comic Cast. I
Thanks,
mean,
Vic.
amazing artists as in plural. There was only Erfan.
Wow.
That's why I'm glad that I got Rick back on the show, because how could we end a show without him telling me how much he loves my artwork? I couldn't sleep at night without him telling me that. But Saeed looks like a ball rock. Yeah. And we got Tater saying, "Get better, Rick." There we go. Noodle says, "Thanks for coming back on, Rick." So you got some fans, Rick. They're all appreciative that you came back.
Well,
So,
thank you, Gerald, for keep forgetting. I sat here jumping in my seat and yelled at you.
I don't know. I got so.
Just face it, the bloody sperm pillow thing brought him back to life.
Oh, that as well.
It did.
I got it on camera. I got it on camera now, so I won it.
Oh yeah. So that being said, let me share this real quick. And on a serious note, let's get to this. All right, let me share this and add this to the stream. And if you look at the scrolling ticker,
I was doing this too.
Oh, okay. Rick is back. He's managing it for me. All right. So just like we end every show, we like to talk about a organization, a charity that is near and dear to Comics Cast. They are a charity that we like, or I like to say, is big enough and small enough at the same time. They are small enough in the sense that they are not nationwide. They focus on the Mid-Atlantic region of the United States. My neck of the woods.
And camera came back on. Sorry.
Oh yeah, Airfan
That's
came back
crazy.
on. Yeah, we got to see him again. And that organization is called Golden Fight, and this is where they're huge. This is where they're big. Their sole purpose, their mission, is to help families that are dealing with really difficult circumstances, and that circumstance is their child has been afflicted with cancer, and cancer being a very tragic disease, a very serious, deadly disease. When that happens, the family, their parents, their main priority is to focus on the healing of their child, and that's where Golden Fight comes in. Golden Fight is huge in the respect in terms of that when they raise money, 100% of it. I used to think it was like 97 or 98%. It is 100% of the money that they raise goes directly to those families that they are trying to help. So they can proudly boast that they don't take anything in terms of their leadership. Everything they do is volunteer. So they are huge, and they help those families that are dealing with difficult situations. So we are not financially tied to them in any way. The leadership of Golden Fight just happens to be good friends with Joe Tolliver, the co-founder of Comics Cast. And through them, I became a fan. I became a fan of them. I respect and completely adore what they're doing in terms of trying to help those families as they focus on the healing of their child. So if you'd like to check out a truly worthy charitable organization, go to goldenfight.org. The URL is at the bottom, and you can find out more about them and see if there is a place or a opportunity where you might be able to help them. Like I said, we are not financially tied to them, so it'd be just really good all around and make us feel like we can help get the word out about who Golden Fight is. So that being said, let me close this. Check them out, and we're going to end the show. This is where I shed a tear, and it's not because Rick is sick, and I'm so sad that he's sick. I'm upset that he's not feeling well, and I want him to get better, but I am sad because I have to say goodbye to Erfan and Charles.
And I'm sad that I felt sick, because I felt like this show needed all my energy, and I just couldn't sadly give it.
Do not worry about that, Rick. In fact, I thought he was going to say it deserved all of my energy because I have to carry Gerald throughout the entire show.
No. Charles did Charles and Erfan did an incredible job carrying you. So
that's it. Well, you know what? It was the bloody sperm. I think that was the
Erfan. That was all Erfan.
Yeah. Whenever I felt weak and I just couldn't go on, I just thought of the bloody sperm, and I was like.
And now I know why during the pre-show he was asking, "What are the limits?"
I think Erfan, you found the limit. You found the limit in terms of what we could do. All right. So before we go, I want Charles. I would love for you to do one more pan around your office here, and I want, if you can, just sort of show. This is what you can kind of see if you're lucky to see. Follow Charles at those links that are on the scrolling ticker below, because find out if he's going to be near a con, and you can see and purchase and support Charles and Essence and Erfan. Check this out. This is the quality that you can expect. So you just want to pan around and show all the great. Yeah, we got like really cool metal prints, posters. Yeah, just pan around.
Oh, nope. Sorry. I'm trying to
so
when the camera's facing.
Yeah, that's true. You're doing great. You're doing great.
And we've luckily also had the chance of him showing it up while on the cam. Some of the quality, it's great quality.
Yeah, look at these pieces. I mean, some of this art we didn't even show, but you can see that they're available as prints and posters. And check out his social media, because Charles has lots of really talented artists that are doing art for him as well, and they've done some really fantastic interpretations of these characters. But my favorite is still going to be Erfan's. Erfan's interpretations are the best. Yeah, just look at that. Really incredible stuff. Charles has an excellent booth graphic display, event display. It's really good. You can't miss it, because he has all this artwork that you saw. It's all featured there. So make sure you follow him. Make sure you write to him. Let him know, because maybe he'll be at a con near you. And that is how we met Charles.
Or if you guys know of it, I can also, like, if there are cons, I can easily just set up to where I can go to them too.
Well, there's a con here for Said in Dubai. I mean, if he pays the travels, surely you want to go.
Yes, exactly. I think Rick will invent a Comic-Con in Denmark that's formed around Charles and the bloody sperm. It's going to be like Denmark Comic-Con featuring Charles.
Swim-Con. No, wait. Swim-Con. No.
With special.
That's going to invite the wrong people. And there'll be a line on there. It says, featuring Erfan, the talented creator behind, or the talented artist behind the icon. It's gonna, and then we'll leave it at that. But anyway, let me. We have the ticker back there. I encourage all of us.
The number one Google search.
Yes, exactly. All right, so Rick and I are going to be counting the days when you guys are going to come back. When you're ready to give me that big announcement that you signed a lucrative deal to do the Essence animation or when you're ready to do volume 2 and release it to the world, you just let me know when that date is. You are always welcome, Erfan. You're also welcome. Any of the new projects that you both want to do together or individually, we want to hear about it. And it's a pleasure to know that such quality that we can expect from indie creators is exhibited by you guys. It's something that I think is going to make people take notice that you can be an indie creator. That's lessons that I think that all of our audience should take to heart. Is you can be a creator, an indie creator that maybe you're frustrated and you don't know how you can tell your story, or you feel like it's never going to get noticed by the big corporations. You don't need to feel that way, because you got creators like these two gentlemen that are on the show that are defying the odds. They're making it happen.
If you
It's
find
all
it
about
out,
building up. And a piece of advice I would give to people, if you attend shows and I don't see enough people do it, is get a contact list. Get people to sign up to the contact list, and build an Excel sheet to actually keep track of them, because the people that stop off at your booth and buy your product and those are the people that you should be focused on, not the people.
And they'll stay with you forever if you treat them well.
Yeah.
You just giving enough attention. 1,000 people can make a huge difference, or one right person can make a difference.
Exactly. It's like I think this is an old adage that's being from a graphic design commercial art background. They used to say it's the rule of 7. And this is before social media. But the rule of 7 is basically like this: you make that bad impression, and that on that one person, they'll tell 7 people about that bad impression. You make a good impression on that one person, and they'll tell 7 other people, and that's free advertising. That's free. You don't have to do anything else. Those people will feel compelled to tell others about their experience. And I think now in social media, it's magnified. It's like 770, it's 700, it's 7,000, and you have that social media platform that's there. I encourage everybody to go to that the URLs in the ticker at the bottom. Follow them, see what they're doing. There's a Patreon that he set up as well, so you can support them that way as well. So anyway, we were supposed to end the show, and I kept on wanting to talk about you guys some more. So that being said, thank you, Erfan. Thank you, Charles. Thank you, Rick, for coming back. Awesome. Always awesome to have you guys. So we're going to sign out and come back next week. We have another, like we always do, we always have a great guest, and we get to learn more about them. So this is Gerald signing out. Rick, you want to take us out? Say something and take us out?
Bloody sperm number 1.
I hear it.